Let's go. Let's go. Sending Coach O off right. Yes, the same Ed Orgeron who set our program back. I'm still happy for this man. He took us to the highest of highs and now the lowest of lows, but we found a way to get it done. And look, that second half was brutally coached, offensively, defensively, even special teams. But let's be honest. You have to be happy that this group, they never not played hard. It was never a lack of effort. I am happy for those seniors in those clean, icy white uniforms. I am happy that they get to experience a bowl game. I understand for us, we're ready to look at the next chapter. A lot of us are worried because Oklahoma State is, pissing down their leg, in the words of Coach 30. But the bottom line is I'm not worried about the future right now. I am focused on the now. I am happy for Max Johnson, as flawed as he is. I'm happy for Garrett Dellinger, who, as a true freshman, drew one of the toughest assignments in the country tonight, and they did not do a good enough job helping that young man. I am happy for this defense. I am just freaking happy. I am ecstatic. And I was sick and tired of seeing people say, well, I hope we lose this game so we could just look towards the future. No, that's not how this works. We only get 12 of these games every year. I want to win every single game. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And I am happy. I'm not just happy because I pumped this guy up before the season. I'm not just happy that this guy, despite getting pushed down the depth chart 15 different times in his career, I'm happy Jaray Jenkins is one who won us this football game tonight. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, Jaray. Let's go. Woo. Let's go. Told me that Ed Orgeron lost the team and didn't look like it. They fought for him. I agree with you. And Jason has been the biggest Max Johnson defender. And Max did have his moments, but I will say tonight was his best game. And you just dropped the biggest super chat I've gotten in quite some time from someone not named Robert. I really appreciate you. King Robert, I know you're watching. Thank you for surviving this channel. We really needed King Robert and Jason to carry us. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. It's probably going to go to a Harry Styles ticket. But still, Kid dropped a dime under pressure, about to get smoked. Dime to Jenkins on the first TD. Absolutely. And honestly, yes, Max Johnson held on to the football too long multiple times tonight. But Max Johnson, at the same time, slid too early. But the bottom line is that he actually did run tonight, something we have been begging Max Johnson to do. You guys watch every single film study that we do. How many times do you hear me say, Max Johnson, just scramble for a few yards. Just scramble for a few yards. And tonight he did it, and you saw how big that was for us. We didn't deserve to win that game because we backed it to a win. It was another crappy second half. We had another good first quarter, another good first half, just like the Auburn game all over again, just like the Alabama game to a certain extent, and we crapped it away. We were lucky to win this game, but sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And we deserve it. We deserve it. You deserve it. But more importantly, not to sound too much like Nick Saban during his coach's show, I am happy for those gosh darn players. I am freaking happy because all these players heard was that they were the backups and all our best players are injured and there's no reason to worry about now. There's no reason to worry about the now. But tonight it was all about the guys. It was all about those guys. I'm freaking happy for him. I really am. I know I can be critical of him sometimes, but goodness gracious, I'm freaking happy. Haley's in there crying. She's so freaking happy right now because she sees me. She sees how frustrated I get when we have seasons like this. And I know we're fortunate as LSU fans to not have to experience 6-6 all that much. But gosh darn it, I don't know if I could have gone without no bowl game. We only get 12 games a year, people. Missed you guys. Great team win tonight. Definitely a positive note to lean on. Aaron, I love it when you do this. Let's go. Let's go. I'll go all night tonight. F it. I'm giving away a Joe Burrow rookie card tonight. I'm happy. Freaking happy. We will be in a bowl game. Yes, if you go 6-6, you're automatically qualified for a bowl game. And in fact, there's going to be a bunch of 5-7 teams that get bowls this year. So LSU, look, we were going to go to a bowl. Probably we would have been asked to go to a bowl as a high-profile 5-7 team. I don't think we would have accepted, but I am very happy that this group of young men get to experience a bowl game. And by the way, this is why it's critical. I know a lot of you are like, well, all the seniors were here for the 2019 team, so they don't care about a bowl game. Well, Liam Shanahan wasn't here, but the bottom line is when you go to a bowl game, these players get a bunch of free stuff, right? And these players, even though with the new NIL stuff, and even though they do get free education and all of that, they do get a bunch of free stuff for going to a bowl game. They get to go on shopping sprees. They get to travel with their teammates one final time. But what if we go to the Independence Bowl in Shreveport? Who gives a flip? There's a bunch of players that are from North Louisiana on this team. How much do you think it would matter to Cam Lewis, who's from Monroe, to get to go to Shreveport? All are North Louisiana guys. It wouldn't mean a lot to them. I'm freaking happy as heck right now. I'm in a great mood. I am in a freaking great mood right now. I understand a little bit later we'll get into Lincoln Riley and what happens next now that Oklahoma won, or they're going to win, I think. I don't know. I'm not paying attention to them right now. I'm only worried about my dear beloved LSU Tigers. I look at this team every day. I've always wanted this to be my dream job. This is my pride and joy. But it feels good to win a game. And it feels so freaking good to win a game against Jimbo freaking Fisher in Texas A&M. And for those that don't know, this could be huge in recruiting. How much easier would it have been for Jimbo Fisher to call up Harold Perkins and Jacoby Matthews and a lot of these guys we are battling for versus Texas A&M? How good would it have felt for Jimbo to call him and say, look, I just beat him in their building, right? We needed this. Freaking needed. Let's go. Awesome. Win. I can't hang tonight, but my guy TDP, Carvis, you can hang. You can hang, buddy. What are you talking about? A live chat is not near as lit without Carvis. I can't hang tonight, but my guy TDP still can get 1,000 yards. True. You did think TDP was going to get 1,000 yards. I agree with you on that, Carvis. Good stuff. And DeMond Clark might just won the Butkus tonight. He was really good. The game-sealing sack there at the end. So, yes, I am very happy for those two young men. Obviously, TDP's a junior, but he's basically a senior. I would be shocked if he didn't go to the NFL. But DeMond Clark, Austin Deculus, Neil Farrell, Darren Evans, all the guys that have put forth a lot of effort. Think about it this way. This is going to be Darren Evans' first bowl. This is going to be Liam Shanahan's first bowl. So I'm happy for them. Max struggled all year and was borderline trash, but tonight the O-line played terrible, dropped passes, and Jake Peets as the OC. Max had to overcome a lot. Now, did he hold on to the football too long? Yes, but tonight there were some times where Garrett Dellinger was getting beat so bad, Max was hearing footsteps the whole night. And then the second thing about Max tonight was the scrambling. The scrambling was so freaking good tonight. This is what we've wanted Max to do. This was not typical Max Johnson. And this is where it's going to sound really crazy, but I was actually happy that Max Johnson took a lot of sacks. And the reason why I'm happy he took a lot of sacks is because I would rather you take a 2 or 3 yard sack instead of just scrambling 20 yards backwards and throwing it away every time. And the reason why I say that is because when you do that, it takes away your ability to scramble and pick up 3 or 4 yards. We don't want Max Johnson playing off his back leg. And tonight, you didn't see a bunch of those stupid back leg throws into heavy traffic. He was really good tonight. Bowl eligible. Let's go. 2-point game in Stillwater. Let's go. We could get a 2 for tonight. Let's go. Let's go. What's up, Esteban? It's going back to Carver's comment here. I agree. I think Damon Clark has a good shot to win the Butkus. He probably will be an All-American as well. Good stuff for number 18, who was under a lot of unfair criticism last year. And I was critical of Damon Clark. He struggled reading the ball, going through whichever gaps. But Damon Clark is just a 3-4 player, or a guy that is not a traditional 4-3 linebacker. He's just an athlete, and he's got an extremely high motor. He doesn't give up on plays. How many times have you seen Damon Clark chase people down? He was amazing tonight. He was amazing. Carvis with another super chat. Max held onto the ball too long. There were a few drops, but he doesn't look for his hot reads. Let it go and get the ball to the athletes. There was a lot of that too, especially in the second half. Okay. So it was a mixture of both. I will say this. Jake Peetz was bad in the second half. Really bad. The 2 blown timeouts on offense are inexcusable. Also, the 3rd and 14 where we had to, had that, it is what it is. Now, I do want to shout out Rain here because, look, I have gotten a lot of heat for my comments about Jaray Jenkins. I mean, he's really good. I've always said this. He's not special, but he's a really good number 2 and number 3. He's good to have on the field. He's not a separator. He's not unbelievable with the ball in his hands. He's just a good football player, right? Once again, he's not Terrace Marshall. He's not Justin Jefferson. He's really good, though. And you want him on the field because he just gets open. And there at the end, he did push off, but he has ridiculous football IQ. And he knows how to get away with that push off. And what's really interesting about that Jaray Jenkins touchdown catch is Garrett Nussmeier actually hit Jaray Jenkins in the hands on a very similar throw versus, I believe, McNeese State. Yes, it was McNeese State. And Jaray dropped it. And it was a very similar throw in the same corner of the end zone, thrown to the near same spot. And this time, Jaray was able to bring it in. And he had a drop earlier in the game. And he's had a few drops, which is ironic because last year he led the team with the lowest drop percentage on the team of players of 10 targets or more. So the fact that Jaray had the game that he had tonight is really special. So he's won us 2 games. He won us the Florida game. He won us this one. It took several years for Saban to surpass LSU at Bama. Once he did, he hammered us in recruiting battles. Jimbo wants to do the same. Him expanding a winning record against LSU would have been bad. Absolutely. Keep in mind, Kobe Hughes is very seriously looking at Texas A&M right now. And Harold Perkins, Texas A&M is a school to beat. I still think he does pick the Aggies, but I think he is very interested in LSU. And you guys know how I am about Harold Perkins. He is my number 1 player in the class of 2022 by far. Not by far. There's some other guys that like Travis Hunter's the real deal. But Harold Perkins would be a difference maker in Durante's system if Durante is retained. So, yes, that does help us out with Harold Perkins because we do not need him on another football team because he's probably a better pass rusher than the guys Texas A&M had tonight. And those guys are really good. Shout out to DeMarvin Leal and number 2, whose name slips my mind. I told you leading into the game, Texas A&M has the best defensive line in the SEC, not named Georgia. Their defensive line's probably on close to their level. They're really good. And tonight's going to be a good learning experience for Garrett Dellinger. Malik had 3 drop passes. Yeah, he was bad tonight. was a good over-the-shoulder pass he dropped as well. Overall, I'm glad we won. Yeah, Malik had a rough night. The true freshman overall just had a rough night. It was a brutal night. It took a while for Jack Besh to get going. He was hurt.
I'm very upset.
Why? What happened?
I'm just upset.
Why? Because Coach O's leaving?
Yeah.
Haley loved her.
I've really been crying.
Yeah, I know. But he coaches one more game, I think, the bowl game. What are you doing? Oh, she wants to come in now? Really quickly, because we got a bunch of super chats. Hey, Z, baby.
I've really been upset. I've been crying in there. All I ever wanted to do was meet him and hear him say, "Go Tigers," in that voice.
She wants to meet Coach O. What's that, Z, baby? All right, go. We got a bunch of super chats to go.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. All right, Malik had 3 drop passes. Yeah, it was a rough night for the super chats. It was a rough night for the true freshman. Okay? I regret not going to this game. You had an anniversary tonight, Jared. What does that mean? Jaray push-off was executed perfectly. He did it early enough to get pay. And Max with the throw while being hit. Let's go, Max. Let's go. I love it. But yeah, Malik, he's going to get better. True freshman doing a true freshman thing. But yeah, Jack Besh was dealing with the flu. Brian Thomas Jr., I guess, out. And Garrett Dellinger. But still, they're true freshmen. You're going up against adults, a lot of NFL guys on that defense. Still, Malik. I'll tell you this. I'm glad Malik is not with Mississippi State right now. But yes, man, I'm a big Jaray guy. I freaking love him. You want to know why? You want to know why you should love Jaray Jenkins? Like, he's not. He doesn't have. Robert. So you want to know why you should love Jaray Jenkins? This is a 3-star kid from small town Louisiana who in the 2018 recruiting class knew he was joining in with Jamar Chase and Terrace Marshall, 2 guys he knows are way better than him, was buried on the depth chart for both of those seasons, then was buried on the depth chart going into 2020 in the middle of a pandemic, beat everyone out on the depth chart, was the only wide receiver on our team really that played wire-to-wire heavy reps. This year gets beat out on the depth chart again after a rough start, and he just stuck out with it. I mean, you can watch Jaray Jenkins. Before every game, the team rallies around Jaray. He's a good locker room guy. This guy loves LSU more than any one of us could ever love LSU, because you really got to love the university, knowing how deep he was buried on the depth chart for now 2 seasons in a row. But he didn't cry. He didn't enter the transfer portal. He stuck it out. After game, let's talk next head coach and staff. There will be a lot of outstanding assistants available. We need a coach who can lead a program. Antoine, you know how I feel about this. Our number 1 candidate is currently coaching in Stillwater right now. JJ, if the Independence Bowl is in Shreveport, I'm definitely going. If LSU's going to the Shreveport Independence Bowl, me and Hay are definitely going. And we're doing a PHL meetup in Shreveport. We got to do it. I kind of hope we get the Independence Bowl. Jesse, I haven't seen you in a minute. Good to hear you. Let's go. Tyler, I'm hammered. Getting hammered. We needed this. I'm so happy we're getting another game. I know how I look, I understand how the media works, and we all want to look towards the future. And I get it. And this year sucks. This year is the worst year we've ever had since the DiNardo years. I totally get it, right? This year sucks. It sucks. No other way around it. It sucks. But this is what I always want us to remember, okay? I don't care so much about recruiting as I do the current team. I don't care so much about the future as I do the current team. We're only given 12 games a year. And at LSU, it was always daggum guaranteed that we were going to get a 13th, if not a 14th, and in 2019, a 15th. I'm so happy we're getting one more game, right? So happy. Ed Orgeron announces he will not coach the bowl game. Offensive line coach Brad Davis will coach the bowl game. So tonight, I'm glad Hay wasn't here for that. Ed Orgeron is out. Tonight was his last game. So no Ed Orgeron. So tonight was it. I'm getting emotional now because I love Coach O. I really do. I hate that. I kind of wanted him to coach the bowl game. As bad as he's been, as bad as he was tonight, he really wasn't that great tonight. But Ed Orgeron will not coach the bowl. Okay. Brad Davis will coach the bowl game. Okay. I hope so, Master Dragon. This is the most insane profile pick I've ever seen. What is this? This is a feather, a lovely lady tickling feet with a feather. If this was 2 hours in, I would dive a little deeper into an investigation about what's actually going on here. Smash that like button. On to the super chat. I didn't know what was going on. Whatever floats your boat. Dragon. Smash that like button. Let's go. We needed this win. Gotta love it. Got to love it. Lots to look forward to after this win, especially our new head coach and who will play in the bowl game. Thank you, Coach O, for everything. So as many of you know, I'm a big Coach Orgeron fan. I love the guy. I have a lot of respect for Coach O. He took us to a height that we've never been before. But as many of you know, I've also been one of his most vocal critics. But it does mean a lot, especially if you're from Louisiana, that somebody from Louisiana coached us to where we are right now. So there's no other way around it. I'm really happy that Coach Ed Orgeron gets to go out on top here. So Brad Davis will be the interim head coach for the bowl game. It's a very interesting decision. Brad Davis in his first year will be the interim coach, not Mickey Joseph, not Corey Raymond, not Kev Falk. I don't know exactly why Brad Davis. But then again, I've always said this. Your offensive line coach is your third most important assistant. Brad Davis also was Sam Pittman's right-hand man for a long period of time. So once again, I got to shout out my guy, Jason, our biggest super chat from someone not named King Robert. I really appreciate you, Jason, so much for supporting the channel. Jason, Robert, and all our super chatters, Mountain Dew, Noel, JJ, Carvis, Antoine with your epic beard, guys. Antoine's got the most epic beard of all time. Peep the name. New era of LSU football. We have to be patient with Coach Riley. Also, I remember when $4 million seemed like a lot for a head coach. $4 million is a lot for just anything. Oh, man. Someone bought a Patrick Mahomes card for $4 million. I was like, really? Patrick Mahomes? You could have bought like 10 LeBron cards for that. Could have bought a Jordan card for that. PSA 10. But they went with the Mahomes card for $4 million. $4 million. November 30th, this is his last day. His era is over, and he has managed so much talent this year. Really a shame. Kudos to those young men. Absolutely. Okay. Van, why won't it let me buy? Van, they're hating on you, man. Yeah, Jonah, it's currently on the screen right now. I gotcha. Power. So, Dev. Next LSU head coach, Lane Kiffin. I love it. I'm down with some Lane train. Maybe Eli Rick says, look, I want to play in Durante Jones's system. I will say this. It does help having elite corners because JaQuincy Kool-Aid McKinstry, once again, the coolest name. That's probably my favorite college football name. until the coldest to ever do it coming in next year. But still, Jaray Jenkins, so freaking happy. So freaking happy, man. Lincoln Riley. What's happening in the Oklahoma State game? I am not paying attention. I'm all focused in on you. By the way, once again, I'm trying to get okay. All right. Carter, can you sponsor Eli so he comes back? So if Eli Ricks, if you are watching this, if Eli Ricks is watching this, all the money I make from the Super Chats tonight, if you come back next season and you rock Power Hour LSU gear, I'll give you all my Super Chat money from tonight, Eli. If Eli's watching this, and we made some good cheddar tonight. So Eli, you're getting all this hard-earned donations. I'll give it to you. You just hang out with Power Hour LSU, do a few interviews with us, rock a PHL shirt. If anyone knows Eli Ricks, let him know. If he needs a bag man, let him know. I'm right here. Cash only, baby. Cash only. Reggie, one of our many cancer warriors in here. We have a lot of people currently fighting the evil sea that watch our channel. Some of you have reached out to me privately about that, and you don't. Reggie and King Robert have talked about this publicly. Understand, if you're fighting through an illness or anything like that right now, we are with you here on PHL. Okay, and you can always reach me on all my social media accounts. We have your back. Okay. So yes, Lincoln Riley. So we'll talk about Lincoln. Thank you for the super chat, Brian. Once again, thank you to Jason and King Robert, our two top super chatters for tonight. First thing about Lincoln Riley is obviously he's been my number one candidate for a gazillion years now. And I would be sad if it actually doesn't happen. But like I've said from the get-go, I think at the last second he says no. I really do. I just think at the last second he views it too much as a lateral career move, but I hope it happens. I really do. I really do. Stepped away for a second. If you had to guess, which bowl do we get? Once again, the Independence Bowl makes a lot of sense, and it would make good sense for LSU. It'd be good, play in Shreveport, play in North Louisiana. It'd be a good SEC draw. I don't know the SEC bowl affiliations off the top of my head, though, right now. Even if the Independence Bowl was an option, ironically, I think I saw Alabama and Oklahoma State in the Independence Bowl many a years ago. So we'll see. We'll see. Eli, you get book bans. Eric, where have you been, dude? You have just been gone. Eric just hates us now. I understand. Eric's been a day one PHLer, and now he just pops right back in. Eric, you've been cheating on us with other channels. I see you. All right, let's get a poll question up. This is bad for me. We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. Okay, so I'm glad you brought this up. Andres, you were in our chat last night with Are You Serious? So, if there was ever a reason, and I'm glad you brought this up because I was going to save it for now. If there was ever a reason from the LSU football gods to say, look, no one should ever wear number 72 again, tonight would have been the perfect night to honor Gundy and retire his freaking jersey number. Tonight, that is Voodoo. That was Louisiana Voodoo. Glenn Dorsey, once again, there have been better defensive players at LSU. Okay? I'm going to put up a question in a second, but I have to just address this. Okay? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Do you think Glenn Dorsey should have his number retired right now? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Oh, no, that was my bad. I didn't mean to send that. Everyone just voted yes. That's my bad. Operator error. Why tonight that this was Louisiana Voodoo at its finest? Okay. And I'm not a big retire someone's jersey, but Glenn Dorsey won every freaking award in a national championship, banged his knee up, wasn't ever good in the NFL because of it. If Glenn Dorsey was fully healthy, he would have been one of the best defensive linemen of all time. I'm fully convinced. Let me do this one. I'll get into let's see. Then you got to retire number 9. I don't think anyone's ever going to wear number 9 because Joe was just Joe. There we go. We'll do this poll question, then we'll do a Lincoln Riley poll question a little bit later. So there you go. No, 7 needs to stay. I like that tradition. OK State has 2 DBs from Louisiana. Also tonight, Jordan Gilbert played a lot for Texas A&M as a true freshman. And you guys know how I felt about Jordan Gilbert coming out. And I wish LSU had offered him earlier. I've always thought he was really good. But once again, you can't get them all. You can't get them all. But yes. So there you go. 72 had a long night. Yeah, I feel bad. Brian, welcome to the channel. Brian says no. Brandon, good to hear from you. Britt, good to hear from you. No, good to hear from you. Well, no, you were in here. Kylie, welcome. I'm trying to get as many newbies in here. David, Jason. Good to see a lot of newbies. All right, everybody. You guys know how this works. 1, 2, 3. The Master Blaster.
Coach O said he's not coaching the bowl game.
Yeah, I saw it. I know, baby. It's okay. It's over. Haley loves Coach O.
I'm very upset.
I know. You love Coach O.
Why wouldn't he coach the bowl game?
Because he's just ready. He's getting $17 million. He's ready to go off into the sunset and hit the beaches.
I'm gonna go find him.
Haley's gonna leave me for Coach O. That's why you guys got to keep super chatting, man. Me or 17 million? Oh man, the Master Blaster. Cliff, how was the energy in the game tonight? Oh, I've said it. I think that's been my Twitter name for the longest. My Twitter name all week was retire number 72. Okay. Everybody wants to do it now. If you're new, the Master Blaster, one of our top super chatters and just top PHLers. Okay. So, I want to introduce you guys to somebody. Okay. Well, actually, I'll say this. I'm not going to introduce this person, but we do potentially have a new logo coming to PHL. But I'll leave it at that. Road to 17 million starts now. Exactly, Noel. I love it. No, my dear friend Scott Smith is in the chat right now. Scott is one of my closest friends in media. And Scott just happens to be one of the best fantasy football writers and mock drafters on the planet. Scott is my fantasy consultant as well. So yeah, shout out to Scott Smith. So cool to see Scott in here. I really do respect that, man. I really do like seeing a bunch of people. Yeah, we are working on an alternative logo, me and Scott privately. And Scott is a graphic designer. And for those that don't remember this, Scott is who designed this for me, my Jamar Chase background. He didn't do it for me, but he just did it, and it's been my background. The Master Blaster! Let's go! The Master Blaster! Scott, you know I love you, man. I love it. Scott hates it when I pump him up, but Scott, for real, dude. Tony, hey Jason, Tony got you by a penny. Tony got you by a penny as the top super chatter. So full disclosure, I do have to include the guy who actually runs this channel, King Robert, with his very generous pregame and halftime Venmos, is still currently our top super chatter. Robert has been very generous, but it is good to see some other big super chatters in here tonight. Tony said, I didn't make it to the game tonight, so I hooked my boy CB up with that Gundy, baby. The Master Blaster. I really do need to meet Tony and Jason, though. Like, for real. Me and Haley, we talk about all of you often. You guys are my friends, right? It's so cool. So cool. BJ had a really good game tonight. He really did. Ojulari played really well. I got to worry about Haley. Haley loves some Coach O. Tony said, I got to be dog. I love it, man. Brad Davis on the sideline. I like Brad a lot. You guys know I'm a big Brad guy. We got a lot of viewers in Lafayette. Apparently, Semper Fi is going to put on a big crawfish bowl for us, especially if Billy Napier is a coach. Jared, thank you for a very nice $50 super chat. So freaking happy, man. I get emotional over Jaray Jenkins. There will never be Tony paid for the meal. I just made it the tip. There you go. JJ, me and Haley, we're still gonna go get steaks one night. So look, bottom line, I'm a big Jaray Jenkins stan. He's one of my favorite LSU players of all time. I freaking just love that guy. I love his story. He's just a good Tiger. Like, this means a lot to him. And I know, like, he's not even top 30 LSU wide receivers of all time, but he's special. And I mean, his story, everything is just great. Tiger Bowl projections are the Mayo Duke Bowl in Charlotte or the Liberty Bowl in Memphis. I could definitely make the Liberty Bowl. I could definitely do that. Ironically, though, the Liberty Bowl is that bowl game for some reason is always really cold. I have no idea why. So there you go. Tony, thank you for the super chat. You get to pick the next topic, by the way, Tony. I haven't done a good enough job of that. Tony, JJ, and Jason, you get to pick the next topic. Noel, you've also super chatted, so you guys get to choose what we talk about. Okay. Jared, are we going to the Liberty Bowl if it's there? I'm down. You have a history, though. And we'll be in Las Vegas. I know we used to have some PHLers in Vegas. A lot of our Vegas PHLers don't watch anymore, though. Liberty Bowl pretty much locked in. We're going to go get some Central Barbecue. I'm telling you, Central Barbecue probably isn't the best barbecue in Memphis, but they have the best chicken wings. And you guys know how I am about chicken wings, right? Oklahoma State's about to close this thing out? Huh? Are you kidding me? What kind of world do we live in? Wait, Brian, you're in Vegas? We should meet up, my guy. Shoot me a message. I expect Lincoln to make the announcement live on the Power Hour shortly. So I will say this, okay, regarding that. Now, I do want to share something with you guys. I like to share what goes on privately. I don't share everything that happens privately, but I have gotten a few messages from people who I trust. How did you have the Lincoln Riley $12 million thing? So a few weeks ago, I said LSU should offer Lincoln Riley $12 million. Esteban, thank you for the generous super chat. I appreciate you. So I will share this information with all you lovely people. Okay. As far as the that video is concerned, because I feel like I should talk about this, right? I honestly just said that that's what they should do. Now, did that have any out? I just threw it out there. I said Lincoln Riley is the next big thing in college football, and I would love for him to be the coach at LSU. And if it takes $10 to $12 million a year to do it, let's do it. And, you know, I've done live streams saying that that's what LSU should do, right? Now, if it does happen, I hope it does. Still at this point, does Lincoln Riley actually do it? Does he actually do it? Does he do it? I don't know. Tiger Droppings. Wait, Tiger Droppings has the deal done? I'm all about it. Carter, are you an LSU consultant? I wish I was. I would be making more money than I'm making right now. I wish I was, though. That would be a dream, man. That would be a dream. To work for my favorite university on the planet. My dream was to play for favorite university on the planet, but I don't think that they want a 5'7", 190-pound, 6 foot or 5'7" defensive tackle or defensive end, whatever position I played. Mm. That was me texting Lincoln Riley. Hop on. I sent him the StreamYard link. It's better for those that used to play FIFA. Okay. For those that used to play FIFA, who remembers Andy Gray? It's going to be a crappy British accent. It's better to be lucky than good. That was a bad British accent. Tell me this, how are British people taking all our acting jobs and their American accents are better than like my own accent? And there's not many American actors that can pull off good British accents. I don't know how that works. I guess British people are just better actors than us. Who's getting the ball with 55 seconds left? You guys, you got to let me know. You got to let me know what happens. Please like the stream. This is the most viewers we've had. Actually, no, we're probably around this number, but it does feel good to have a stream with the win. Okay. Let's see here. I may pull up a stream of this game, considering it's the biggest thing. So tell me this, guys. Right now, if you had to make a guess, who would have the better pro career? Would it be Lincoln or excuse me, who would have the better college career? Would you take Caleb Williams over Walker Howard right now? Would you? I'm asking you right now. Type Y for yes, type in for no. Would you take Caleb Williams over Walker Howard? Put your Louisiana bias aside. Will you take Caleb Williams over Walker Howard? Pelicans got their butt beat. Okay. We live to see another day. No. Well, Simper, I know what you were going to say. Let me see. Oh, dang. They are driving. Oh, my goodness. Hazelwood dropped it. Ethan, that's the thing. We're projecting. Does Walker Howard have a higher ceiling than Caleb Williams? Who has Oklahoma +4 right now and is sweating? Brian, shoot me an email, man. You got to teach me all about Vegas. I'm excited about Vegas. Or shoot me a message on IG, whatever, at Carter the Power. That's my name on IG and Twitter. I still have a Power Hour LSU Instagram account. I don't know how many people here do Instagram. Let's see. Incomplete. I'm a little bit behind. Shea Patterson? That's the thing. You know, until you actually play Division I football, all these 5-stars could be a bunch of Shea Pattersons, right? And it's interesting because Jimbo Fisher has a really good quarterback situation. They got a 5-star coming in, and they also got Eli Holstein. Okay. There's some of you that think Eli Holstein is better than Walker. I've heard that. I don't know about that. That's it. Mike Gundy's got a squad, man. I mean, it's crazy to me how good Mike Gundy's been. And if Oklahoma State wins out, they could be in. Now, they would have really liked to have seen Alabama lose today. My goodness, I don't want to get that. I'd be fine with Gundy and BR. He's really that good. How many? Tell me this. Have there been? Let me ask you this. Have there been 9 coaches in college football the past 10 years better than Gundy? Okay, how many coaches in college football in the last decade have been better than Gundy? Dabo, Saban, Urban, Lincoln, maybe? I'm not even sure about that. Gundy's probably top 5. He's probably top 5. Okay. He's definitely better than Ohio State's coach. Well, Gundy's a man. He's 40. Harbaugh's not been better than Gundy. He's not. Stoops, Mark Stoops. I could see Stoops. Maybe Kirby, maybe. No, I would say Kirby. I would say Kirby's been better. But I mean, Gundy's just so freaking good, man. He's so freaking good. He's so freaking good. Right? Let's see. Esteban, Mac Brown before leaving Texas. I agree with that. I do. Mac was really good at Texas, and they probably should have kept him. Dan Mullen, I would have said, I would agree with that. I would agree. I mean, this year just sours his legacy so bad. I would still probably say Gundy's better. I still would. King Ulysses hit his parlay. You know what that means, King Ulysses? You know what that means, baby. That means it's time for you to get another PHL shirt for the missus. Let's go. Let's go. The game is over. OSU won. But Antoine, you are wrong. OSU lost. No. OSU won. The Ohio State University lost. How great would it have been today? How great would it have been today? In 2021, the year of our dearest coach getting fired. How great would it have been today, though? This coach that we all love, Ed Orgeron, win today, beating Jimbo Fisher, while at the same time, Ohio State losing and Alabama losing. But this is why college football is so great and why college football is the best form of American sports entertainment that we have. Okay? The reason why college football is the best is TJ Finley was one of the big reasons why Alabama won today. How perfect would it have been if TJ Finley would have actually gotten the job done and screw Brian Harsin for not going for 2 in the win when he had the opportunity? Congrats, King Ulysses. Coach Webby. I'm excited. Bring Cincinnati on. Still, you guys know my stance on this. Cincinnati should have been in last year. I still don't. The Ohio State privilege today was just driving me insane. I'm so glad Michigan beat the living daylights out of them. Because, once again, the biggest travesty is Ohio State getting into the playoffs with 6 wins. How does that happen? How does that happen? No one has ever been able to rationally explain that to me, ladies and Gentiles. Doug, no. John Gruden is very overrated. His offenses have been outside the top 20 a lot during his NFL years. And I just think he's just overrated. I mean, he had one really good series on ESPN, and he won a Super Bowl with Tony Dungy's roster. But yeah, I'm not Gruden. He's fun, though. I agree with you. He is fun. Other than his emails. Not fun. Really though, Gruden, you put what you put in those. Really. And the funny thing about that is, I knew DeMar Smith when I was in DC. It's like the nicest guy. Like he's the most like owner friendly players association person in all of sports. What was that? Huh? But I want John Gruden nowhere close to LSU football. Congratulations on your broadcast all season. Thanks for your hard work. Roby, I know you're a big Pelicans fan. And we lost again tonight. Max, Lincoln, Lane, Napier, Dan Lanning. I'd be interested in Dan Lanning. I'll tell you this. I think I would prefer. No, I'm not going to go that far. I like Aranda a lot. I do. I wish Dave Aranda. I wish they would give more thoughts to Dave Aranda. Heat fan. What is a Heat fan? Lovey, thank you for your super chat. Who are your Heisman favorites? Good question. So Bryce Young is probably still the favorite, even though he played like trash. It should be the opposite. It still should be C.J. Stroud, who played pretty good today, all things considered. His skill guys didn't break a lot of tackles. Michigan's defense came to play. His offensive line was very inconsistent, and it didn't help that his defense played like trash. So right now, I would, if I were to give the award to a quarterback, I would give it to C.J. Stroud or Matt Corral. But Matt Corral, that would be probably the least impressive Heisman Trophy quarterback in quite some time. So I think this would be a good year to give it to a defensive player. Why not give it to Will Anderson, or who I would seriously think about, Aiden Hutchinson, probably the best defensive end in college football for Michigan. I would think about Aiden Hutchinson quite a bit. So I would look at either one of those guys, Kenneth Walker maybe, but yeah, my favorites who I think they'll actually win, because the award is so heavily biased to quarterbacks, which it should be. They're the most important position on the field, but there simply isn't a Heisman Trophy quarterback out there. But right now, Bryce Young's going to be the favorite, Alabama quarterback, and Alabama quarterbacks never won it. And he's got a lot of superstar qualities. He looks like a superstar quarterback. So, yeah. I'll say this: if Bryce Young beats Georgia, he's a lock. He's a lock. Bill O'Brien. Oh man. Let's go to Grant. So I'm new to the channel this season. What happens from after the bowl game until next season starts? So the funny thing is, Grant and I were friends in college. And Grant, you have been a very generous supporter in helping me build. By the way, Grant is also very successful in the media game. We both interned at the same time with some pretty cool companies when we were both in college. You had a great work ethic too, man. I love being in student media with you. So I'm new to the channel. What happens from after the bowl game until next season starts? So we do a lot of recruiting stuff in the offseason, but this year I am going to do more fun stuff. It's not going to get as many views. It just isn't. But this offseason, I want to do, let me know if you guys are interested in this. I want to do like deep dives on like Patrick Queen's best plays and Joe Burrow's best plays. I don't know why Patrick Queen. I've always liked Patrick Queen a lot. I want to do deep dives into their careers, what made them special as players, what made them such high IQ, great Tigers. I want to do deep dives. What's the greatest recruiting class of all time? Who's truly the great underrated Tigers? Talk about guys like Josh Jurasic, Russell Shepard, guys that did the little things right. Ulysses, thank you so much for giving a little piece of your parlay that you hit today. Congratulations. I have to say this, King Ulysses is definitely one of our sharpest viewers. He's been right about a lot. King Ulysses called the great freshman season of Malik Neighbors, and Malik had a crappy game tonight, true, but he also made some other catches, and let's be honest, that ULM game is a lot closer if we don't have him on the team. So, shout out to you, King Ulysses. Esteban, I'll do a Braden Fiocco deep dive. I love me some Braden Fiocco. I would be fine with Jordan Davis. The only issue with Jordan Davis, though, Max, is he gets subbed out a lot because of how Georgia subs in their defensive linemen. So I think on Georgia's defense, I would probably give it to Nakobe Dean. He's kind of their leader, but Jordan Davis is probably their best player. Fiocco was good. How about basketball, baseball, gymnastics? Basketball's really good. Baseball's really good. I'm going to stay focused on LSU football. Okay. I just am. So as much as I love those other sports, and I do, I love LSU basketball a lot. I just stay focused on LSU football. But why not? We'll try an LSU basketball watch party. I know Jared has been wanting that. Jared Addison, one of our leaders on this channel. Really, Jared's been with me for a while now. Jared is probably the biggest LSU basketball fan in here. He watches every second of every game. So shout out to you, Jared. So we'll see. JJ's a Napier guy. Interesting. So we'll get into some head coaching chatter. I haven't been able to check the poll question. Jaray Jenkins winning the poll. I like it. Oh, crap. The votes are like loading up here. Let's see. Thank you so much, Ulysses. You've been with me as well. Yeah, I think you and Jared probably joined the channel about the same time. I appreciate it. Doug, you did call Deion Smith too. I got to give you that, man. Got to give you that. It's pretty crazy, though, that 4 out of the 5 freshman wide receivers hit. It's also crazy. This is the even crazier thing, Doug, and I'm glad you brought this up, right? So Deion Smith was the most LSU receiver, right? Even though he was out of state, he grew up a big LSU fan. He's from Jackson, which is basically Louisiana. He's been committed the longest. So Brian Thomas Jr. almost went to Texas A&M. He chose LSU. Imagine how different tonight would have been if they would have had just one more playmaker out there. Same thing's true in Mississippi State, right? Malik Neighbors was going to Mississippi State. JoJo Earl, I don't know what the deal was. He didn't turn out to be the guy that I thought he was going to be. I don't know if he's hurt or not. Maybe there's a Bama guy in here that could tell me. You guys know how high I was on JoJo Earl. As of right now, it looks like LSU got the better end of the deal right now. Coach, we'll see you in a bit. So if there's a Bama guy or gal in here, please give me the JoJo Earl. DC hire would be big. Alex Grinch just isn't good, right? JoJo got hurt last week? Okay. I mean, can we say BTJ would have been the difference for A&M? No, not tonight. I mean, you can't definitively say it, but I'll tell you this. He would be their best or second best wide receiver right now. So my point is, I'm really glad he wasn't with A&M because he could have been the difference between them winning one extra game or not. You know what's funny, Jonah? I'm glad you brought this up. Jonah, you were in the chat. I got to say this, man. You're the first to mention how good Cade York was for us tonight. He was pretty money. So I like it. Rain says WBRZ said we're going to find out more information on coaching hire tonight. Cool. Cool. I agree with this, Jesse. I do. So, yeah, I think that's true, Rain. Huh? Aggies haven't won a BR since Pulp Fiction was released. Cade York got cheesy. That's true, Doc. Damon really did grow into it. I love it. I freaking love it. So after 191 votes, Jaray Jenkins is our PHL MVP. Congratulations. Definitely Jaray's best game. He had the Florida game earlier this year. He had the Florida game last year. He had the Mississippi State game last year. He's had some good ones, but by far his best tonight. My God. All right. Type Y for yes. Type N for no. Do you want Durante Jones back next season? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. I'm going to type in this next poll question here. Okay. Let's see. Jonah says yes. Rain says yes. Cliff says no. Lots of no's in here when we've really been as good of a defense in the country. Let's see. Without Stingley, without Ricks, without Mason. You can't believe it. We haven't had Mason in a while. Mason's one of our best players. Okay. King Alexis just says why. So be careful with this kind of stuff, Mick. I'll wait till Ross Dellinger or someone really prominent. I'm not saying DraftKings isn't prominent, but notice the wording here. DraftKings report LSU has verbal agreement with Oklahoma head football coach Lincoln Riley. They could be aggregating a student reporter by the name of Dilly Sanders, who I know fairly well. He's a reporter for the Reveille. Dilly says that there is a deal in place. Once again, that's one reporter. I'll just wait till Lincoln Riley is actually I will wait till Lincoln Riley tweets an official graphic out and it is signed, sealed, and delivered. You guys know I'm not a scoop guy. I'm not a first guy. Just not who I am, right? Simper, it's not hard. Click yes or no. Simper. You got this. Okay? It's Billy Napier telling you to do this. And the funny thing about it is Ross Dellinger unfollowed me on Twitter. I've never said anything about him. I've only respected him. I've known Ross for a little bit now. I was like, God, Ross, an unfollow? Did I say anything? So let me ask you guys this. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Is Billy Napier the next head coach at Florida? Do you think Billy Napier is the next coach at Florida? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Watch us win the bowl game 38-0, and they say, Brad Davis, you're the guy. Huh? Mark, thanks for tagging me in that tweet. That was a funny tweet. Cole Kublik and Shaq. Scott says, yes, my guy Scott. I don't understand how cool it is. Scott's in here, man. Freaking love Scott. Been one of my close buds in the media world. Let's see. Oh man, they're starting to show Die Hard again. This, I would expect these two to be pretty locked in. I think Brad Davis has done a good job to not have a backup plan though. When Garrett Dellinger was having that happen to him, man, I don't think you can keep Garrett Dellinger at left tackle after tonight. That was so bad. And Delly was the highest rated left tackle in all of college football last week. They should have figured something out quicker. That was really bad. I wouldn't do this, and I like Corey Raymond a lot. I think you need to have someone that's called plays before, right? You just do. That was pretty funny, Noel. So for those that don't know, Oklahoma State during timeouts tonight in Bedlam played Calling Baton Rouge over the loudspeakers. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of different things. I've heard that, and this is just a rumor, but I've heard that a player for Oklahoma asked Lincoln Riley, what about these rumors? And Lincoln Riley responded, once again, I'm not even going to say this, but I'm going to, because I'm having a good night tonight. Lincoln Riley said, don't worry about the rumors, focus on beating Oklahoma State. And I was like, dang. Let me just say, I hope that that's true. That would make me feel a lot better. Oh, man. I've gotten a few texts now that I got mentioned on Tiger droppings. My goodness gracious. This is my crowning achievement. The double rainbow guy is back. Double rainbow. I was on TD. How great is that? So here are my thoughts on Tiger droppings. Okay, I know some of you go there. I have a lot of my close friends go there and don't watch me at all. All right. But I'll say this about Tiger droppings. I think it's a net positive. I think message boards are net positives, right? There's a lot of good that is discussed on those chats. There's also a lot of nothingness and nefarious stuff talked about on those chat rooms. You guys probably know some of the stuff that I'm talking about. I will put my hand on the Bible and say that I have visited Tiger droppings maybe 3 or 4 times in the past year, right? It's not where I frequent for LSU news. I look at what a lot of you look at, go 247 and a lot of that. So there you go. I just don't go to Tiger Droppings. I like the site a lot, though, because wherever you get LSU news, go for it. Some of you like Dandy Don. Dandy Don's amazing. They've been doing it longer than anyone, really. Tiger Details is great. 1045 is great. The list goes on and on, right? So I like Tiger Droppings. It's just not where I personally go to. But it's cool. It's cool that PHL got mentioned because I would guess they're probably the biggest LSU message board. So, yeah. Yeah. Dane, I appreciate you letting me know that I'm on TD. Shout out to what is it? The rant. Y'all let me know what Lincoln Riley says. Been reading the rant since 03. God, that's crazy. Tiger Droppings has been around that long. Was the internet even around in that's so good. Oh, let me see. It was someone named an Oklahoma State fan, ironically. Dane sent me the screenshot, the person that called me out. Hunicus? Cool. Shout out to you. So, full disclosure, I do have a friend that plays on Oklahoma State's team, so I'm really happy that Oklahoma State won Bedlam tonight. I'm very happy for my friend, Mr. Desmond Jackson. Shout out to you. He played a lot more last year than he did this year, but shout out to you, Desmond. I'm really proud of you, man. I don't think he's watching right now. He's probably having a lot more fun than we are right now, being a player that just freaking won Bedlam. But I'm not going to lie. We're having a pretty freaking good night tonight. We are. And appreciate your film room over the season. Appreciate you too, Shan. It's pretty crazy. I think the number one reason that a lot of you like the channel is because of the film studies. Those do take a while. So, since you super chatted, Shan, I'll share with you my process. So whenever I get done with this live stream, I immediately start the film study, but I don't do any editing until tomorrow. The first thing I do is I rewatch the game and I look for the little things that I missed during the game. And then the second thing is I do another rewatch and look for other little things that I may or may not have missed. And then from there, that's where, we start getting into the weeds. Now, full disclosure, I say this about every film study. I don't know the play calls. I don't know the players personally. I don't know the coaches personally. I don't know how players are instructed. There's a lot of different variables that goes into each. So I always say this, if you are a fan of the film studies, all of what I say is just my best personal guess of what actually happens, right? So I try my best. I appreciate you. You do a great job on them. That's cool. Yeah, I put a lot of hard work into it. And I will say this. What's funny, Shane? I'm glad you mentioned this. This year, so I've been doing film studies for a long time, right? And there's a couple of plays that just stick in my head that are like some of the best and worst LSU plays in history. I think back to the national championship game where Odell Beckham dropped a tough 50-50 ball that he would have probably taken to the house. But on that same play, Jordan Jefferson had D'Angelo Peterson for a walk-in touchdown, and we would have crossed midfield sooner. But there's all these little things that get caught up in my head. But I'll say this. The thing that angers me the most, and I understand that obviously Haley got emotional. She's a huge Ed Orgeron fan. I am an Ed Orgeron fan. But this is why, and I like Corey Raymond a lot. I like everyone on that staff. Everyone's coaching, trying to do their best. I've honestly felt this way for 2 years now, and I do need to be a little bit more honest about this. I do begin to question all the defensive coaches and analysts on the staff over the last couple of seasons. Why in the heck did we not get out of the rancid schemes that we ran over the past year and a half? Okay. Why, Mick, good night. Congratulations, Noel. Happy early birthday, man. Doug's recruiting guy. There you go. I like it, Doug. I like recruiting a lot too. But this is something that I struggled with. Okay. I don't know how we ran the schemes that we ran for so long, knowing what you've seen the past couple of weeks was there. It was there all season. And I kept getting this excuse. I reached out to someone that I knew that knows people in the program. And I just got tired of doing the defensive film studies and watching us play the same defense every play. And, you know, you kept hearing me say that during the UCLA and the Ole Miss film studies and basically every film study. And I reached out to someone and they said, well, Carter, look, the one thing you don't understand, and I took this personally, he said, the one thing you don't understand is it's too late to put in new defenses. Even if I were to go to Ed and tell him that, it would take too long to put in new defenses. And the phone call ended shortly after that. I told him, no, it's not, because what you're doing isn't working. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. And I was respectful about it. I said, look, I don't know a whole lot about football. I don't know as much as any of those coaches as far as scheme, cover two, robber, any coverage term you want to use, bump and run, whatever. But there needs to be some kind of investigative report about what actually happened. Was it what Ed Orgeron said, that Lane Kiffin told him to change the defenses up? What actually happened? Because the truth of the matter is Ed Orgeron would still have a job right now if we had run a different defense these past couple of seasons. We would have been, last year, we probably would have been 6-4, 7-3, and we probably are an 8-4 roster with the defense that we have now, right? Why go into... Why did we think that this was going to work? And this is what I've always wondered, Scott. This is what I've always wondered. And I feel this is true as well. He was just so dead set on the four-man front. And what I think happened, which Coach O's hubris got in the way. Because what he said about Dave Aranda, I think, just got in his head. Where he said, look, I can't go back to a three-man front because it would prove what I said about Dave Aranda would make it even more idiotic. And Coach O's arrogance just got in his own way. He would still be the coach right now, Ed Orgeron. If we were 7-3, 8-3, whatever. We're going bowling, baby. Happy for Coach O. Exactly. Bottom line. He'd still be the coach. He would still be the coach. And look, the offense is still broken. And the offense has always been the tougher side of the ball to fix. Right? And it's not as if defensively, if LSU's reinvented the wheel. They haven't. We're not doing something that's never been seen before. But what do I know? We're going to be nowhere close to Oklahoma in the bowl game. All right, Mayan. Someone said the next head coach is Chris Peterson. I'm just a messenger. Mayan said someone, though. Not just anyone. He said someone. And someone has better sources than any one of us. Not true. First off, Michael, welcome to the channel. I think this is your first comment. LSU did not want Coach O. Woodward runs a football team. You think Ed hired Pelini? Yeah, so there, I think Woodward wanted Pelini, and Coach O obviously hired Pelini without interviewing him, whatever the truth is. That still doesn't change away the fact that the defense ran the same play every time during the Bo Pelini era and Bo Pelini era. And they did the same thing this year. Hit stick, always super chat, and I appreciate you. Congrats, Durante. You saved your job at least for a year. Really happy for Durante. I'd like to see him back. I do. I think if Lincoln Riley comes, there's a pretty good possibility that Durante keeps his job. I do. Okay. Marcellus, we love you here, man. You make our chat so much better. Appreciate that. Yeah. During the Bo Pelini era, we ran the same play. It was called blown coverage. It was also put Cordell Flott on the greatest SEC wide receiver statistically of all time and see what happens. I will never not think about that. We had Derek Stingley and Elias Ricks on the field, boots on the ground, and we said, look, let's put Cordell Flott on him. And Cordell's a great player. But that wasn't a good idea. Oh, man. Yeah, Bo. There was a Bo Pelini player who reached out to me this week. Not this week, actually, a few months ago. And he said, Carter, you know Bo Pelini runs zone, right? You know, he is a zone defense guy. This isn't his defense. Jesse, good to have you back, man. And congrats on your Atlanta Braves. It's been a while since I've seen you. Plum, you're at the game tonight? Blessed is all the way in Turkey. Welcome. It's 15 extra practices. We get Mason Smith probably back. We get Sage back. And Sage gets to keep his red shirt if he plays. Heck yeah. Lincoln Riley ever won a big game? Lost another tonight. So he beats Texas every year. He also beat Baylor twice. A Matt Rule coach Baylor. He has lost his playoff games, but this will be his first year he doesn't finish in the top 10. That's if Oklahoma doesn't win their bowl game. If they win their bowl game, they probably have a top 10 finish. So yeah, I mean there are some question marks about Lincoln Riley winning the big game, but at some point he's going to break through, right? Did anyone ask Lincoln Riley? Delton. We're going to talk about those all white uniforms in just a second. So show me Jonas's beard. You said it was the most epic on the channel. Let me see. No, Antoine has the most epic beard on the channel. Or is it yours, Big Al? I don't know, Big Al. Antoine, if you're still watching, these stats can see. So I could see what you. So I could see that beard again. Okay. So I do feel that this is very important information. So Lincoln Riley just said this at the podium. So take that for what it's worth right there. Okay. As much as I want Lincoln Riley to be the next head coach, there you go. So there you go. Antoine's beard. Okay. Or Big Al's beard. Get Big Al's photo here. Yeah, your beard is pretty epic. This. I'm going to be very political here. Antoine's mustache is better. Big Al's beard is longer. So I'm going to get the political answer and say the mustache contest goes to Antoine and the beard contest goes to Big Al. Okay. Lane train at this point. How crazy is that? Huh? I'm engineering the lane train. Kellen Moore is going to be our next head coach. How do you guys feel about this? Let me know what you guys think about this. It's kind of defeating, huh? Lane Kiffin. Michael wants Lane Kiffin. How about that? Brad Davis is the next head coach. I think people would go nuts if we went the interim route again. Hitman. I do think this helps out Max Johnson's chances of coming back as well. So if you are a Jake Johnson fan, Reed, you know how I've stood on this. I really want Lincoln Riley to be the next head coach at LSU. Still could happen, but I just always thought it was just too lateral. I really did. My gut always told me that it was just way too lateral. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be an interesting. I don't know if I'm going to sleep tonight. It just sucks, man. It does suck to see that just out there. Once again, that is via Jason Kersey of The Athletic. It's almost like we didn't win tonight. He might just be saying that. Look, he's frustrated after a loss. I think here's what I think happened. Okay. If you guys want to know my honest opinion of how things worked itself out and why I've said from the get-go, even though Lincoln Riley is the number one candidate, I doubt he's going to take the job. Okay. Said in my initial piece, set it down. Okay. I just think from the get-go that the move is too lateral. And when you're offered $12 million, why would you hurry up and say yes or no to that deal when if that offer was on the table and that rumor was that look, Lincoln Riley is the only guy that's had a reported offer to be leaked. Legit, it's the only offer we know out there. Well, of course he's not going to say yes or no to that if he wants better facilities. And what I think Lincoln Riley was doing, spoke to someone I know from Oklahoma about this yesterday. I think Lincoln Riley was trying to play leverage, right? Trying to squeeze every last little bit out of Oklahoma he possibly could, right? So I also don't know. Look, as much as I want Lincoln Riley to be the next coach, there are some things that I dislike. Obviously, I've defended his 0-3 playoff record. You would prefer to have seen him win a playoff game up to this point, so I'm not going to criticize him for that. But there is a concern, though, that Lincoln Riley, before he ever turned the age of 40, was going to be the highest paid coach in all of the sport. Once again, I'm fine with that. I think coaches' salaries are going to increase. We've already seen that with less proven coaches. The thing that concerned me, though, is Oklahoma is just an easier place to coach. It just is with the SEC versus the Big 12, even though Lincoln Riley's offenses have done better than most SEC offenses when he plays SEC defenses. And keep in mind that when Lincoln Riley plays SEC defenses, they're normally all great SEC defenses. So we'll see. I also think Oklahoma's going to give him what he wants. I know for certain that Lincoln Riley's going to. I've got this on a pretty good authority that Lincoln Riley wants a Saban type of staff. He wants more analyst. He wants more coaching staff. He wants more resources, while at the same time he probably wants more money, right? Huh? That's true. Rain's made the same joke as well. I am really excited to see Brad on the sidelines, though. So here's where I think LSU goes next. If this is not going to happen, I think the next move LSU is going to make, this would be the next guy I would go after. Lane Kiffin's probably not going to be the guy. As much as we love Lane on this channel, there's a lot of you that really want Lane to be the next head coach. Okay. I do think the guy you should look out for. All right, Lane Kiffin's out. I just don't rationally believe Mark Stoops. I do think Matt Campbell is a very interesting name. I brought up Matt Campbell's name. I think Scott just mentioned Matt Campbell's name in the chat a minute ago. I like Matt Campbell's offenses a lot. Remember this, Matt Campbell has yet to have elite quarterback play, right? He's had Brock Purdy, who is not that great. He's had great skill guys. He knows how to coach great skill guys. He's had arguably the best running backs. From out of all the non-powers, he's had the best running backs. I like Matt Campbell a lot. I would not be opposed to a Matt Campbell hire, right? He won't get elite quarterback play at LSU. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I don't think Fickle's leaving Cincinnati. The next job Fickle would leave for is Ohio State. Nick Saban said something similar. He did. And maybe Lincoln Riley just got frustrated and didn't want to answer any more questions on the matter. But that's a pretty direct response. Okay. It seems pretty direct. I don't know about you. Still, in our poll, Lincoln Riley, overwhelming 70% says he will be taking the LSU job. Let me text someone that I respect. Flight tracker, Flight tracker chat's gonna be lit. Why did it take him so long to say that, though? Leverage. He wants to get more out of Oklahoma. So we've had a few people from Oklahoma in here, but I've inquired about this as well. So Oklahoma is a different culture than LSU, right? They're not as brash when it comes to booster spending and paying head coaches and handing out money and facilities and all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I just think Lincoln wants upgrades with everything, right? Mark D'Antonio. Yeah, Mel Tucker's not leaving Michigan State. He should never leave that job. If I was given a $95 million deal without ever really have one winning season, I'm just never leaving that job. Seems to be a trend with LSU. Jimbo wasn't coming until he wasn't. Tom Herman until he wasn't. Marcus Freeman until he wasn't. And now not Lincoln. I'm not ready to close the door on Lincoln Riley just yet. But, we could see a scenario where this is it, Yeah, I can't get on board with Mark Stoops or Bill O'Brien. But they're older. Scott Woodward is going to go with a little bit more older school. If you get my drift, I just don't think he's going to go after someone younger and more brash like Lane Kiffin. I know King Ulysses. I don't think I'm going to sleep tonight. I really don't. Jonas says I'm going to try and get some Z's tonight. I kind of feel like just getting weird. So, guys, when was the first time you ever had kidding? How many super chats you got out? Let's see. We've had 2 really generous super chats on here. We've had a lot of really generous Venmos tonight. We've also had some We've also had some generous Cash Apps tonight as well. I love it, man. Lincoln does end up at LSU. We need some PHL merch that said Lincoln Lad. So, Mike Martz. I'm down. The sissy blue shirt thing. I love it. So, to no surprise, the poll question actually petered down a little bit. Guys, I'm just in shock right now. Appreciate you, JJ. So I want y'all to read this. Lincoln Riley says, I'm not going to be the next head coach at LSU. So I went to school with Tyler Batiste. He is one of the head writers or editors at The Athletic. And he says it's because he signed the deal and is technically the current coach. Let's go. It's because he signed the deal and is technically the current coach. I love it. But yeah, this thing is dead. This thing is dead. Okay. I know you guys wanted him to say, yes, I'm taking this job. This is how I feel as well. Tomorrow they will announce the next head coach. That's what the tea leaves have told me. Look. I don't even know. I don't even know what to think right now. I guess you should cross your fingers and hope it's Matt Campbell tomorrow. I like Matt a lot. I think he'd win big. I think he'd win, take us to a playoff. I do. Bill O'Brien or Mark Stoops? Hope it's not true. Yeah, I'll do it. Energy gone. Romeo, okay. So, the wind taken out of your sails. I do think, yeah, am I a little disappointed? Yes, I am disappointed, right? I was right, though. I thought that he wasn't going to take this job. I really thought he wasn't going to take it. He still could. I hope I'm very wrong about that. The issue, though, is I think Scott Woodward going Bill O'Brien or Mark Stoops would not be a good move. I just don't think it would be a good move at all. Okay. That's what concerns me. I just hope that's not what happens. I would be really excited about Matt Campbell. I would. I do like Matt a lot. I do. I'd be really excited if I wake up tomorrow and Lane Kiffin's the guy. But yeah, JJ, I am a little bummed out. You know, I think Lincoln would win big here, but you know, there's a piece of me that just kept saying this isn't going to happen, right? So Kerry didn't want Lincoln Riley, okay? Even though Oklahoma is a national powerhouse. But now, Kerry doesn't want, what's his name? Matt Campbell, because Iowa State isn't a national powerhouse. That just doesn't make any sense. So who would your perfect coach be, Kerry? I don't think Dabo would be the guy that fixes the offense, but he's really good. Yeah, it once you say, I mean, Ryan, you heard me in Blake's chat last night. Heal is hard fun. Feel free to chip in, y'all. That would be nice. I'll say this. Obviously, anything is better than what Ed Orgeron's done these last couple of seasons. I just don't think Mark Stoops and Bill O'Brien's the answer. I just don't. I would like Lane Kiffin a lot. I think Lane would be a really good fit at LSU. Just do it. Just do it. Maturity be you know what. Mm. Mm. Any idea on what turns Woodward off about Kiffin? It's probably something personal that we don't know about. Not something personal as in like they have beef with each other. I just think with how the last two head coaches ended their tenures, you don't want to risk another coach who has leaving a program in a burning pile of trash to his resume. Now, I will say this, Kiffin is not necessarily accused of anything nefarious, but still, I just don't think – I do think image does play a certain factor into this, right? So, yeah. But that's my point, Carrie. I'm interested. Who would your who is your number one candidate? We deep, baby. We're 185 deep. Let's go. Michael, thank you for your super chat. King Ulysses, one of our top super chatters tonight. Lane at LSU would be an automatic 30-point boost. I think Lane would win really big at LSU. I do. There was a reason why he was my number one candidate right when this opening happened. And then, I had Lincoln Riley in my initial thing, and I was like, okay, that's just too far-fetched. And then I was like, hold on, this could potentially happen. Or I also thought that LSU should at least try to make it happen. Stoops just said he is staying at UK, so you should be thrilled about that. He would not fit in well with LSU. Josh McDaniel, $4 million a year. LSU job, $10 million. That's my pick. Why not? Okay, Carrie. So this is how I feel about every NFL candidate, in particular Josh McDaniels, who with the New England Patriots doesn't have to make media appearances, has the most tight-shipped job in the NFL where everything is just about football. College football is the opposite. The NFL NFL coaches, 80 to 90% of their job is actually coaching football. In college football, it's the opposite. Most of what you do as a college football coach has nothing to do with actually coaching football. So that's why I would not want an NFL coach. I think after the success he's had in Michigan, Josh Gaddis, their offensive play caller, I like the outside the box thinking. I also think Michigan's defensive coordinator is going to get a lot of looks for jobs, who they got from the Ravens. I like Gaddis a lot. Obviously, what he did today was pretty impressive. A lot of it was on the ground. But yeah, I just think for me, just from speaking to someone I know with knowledge of this search, they want to hire a guy with head coaching experience. Now, Gaddis has a lot of experience, and he's had experience at a big time program, and he's going to know the ins and outs of recruiting. We'll see. How about them Tigers? I'm so happy we won tonight. Joe Burrow for head coach. Real talk, how many times as a coach in 1 year? Let's go to Graylin. Feeling good about a great win. Lincoln quote is disappointing. Is Aranda still realistic? No. I feel good about him. Who's your next best? And whoever it is would be smart to hire you as an analyst. I would absolutely love that job. I would love to work for LSU. I would be an analyst anywhere, really. But yeah, I mean, let me first say this. Okay, so I know quite a few coaches, right? Not only at the college level, the high school level. In fact, I had some buddies who are offensive coordinators in Europe who are at the LSU A&M game tonight. And it is really, really, really hard to get your foot in the door to coach anywhere. It's so hard. So I want to share this really quickly, Graylin, before we get into this chat. Okay. And we're talking about assistant coaches, right? So I've gotten a lot of questions about Mickey Joseph and Corey Raymond and whoever else, right? I think what we tend to forget about assistant coaches is a lot of them are just trying to keep their jobs. This is a volatile profession where you bounce around a lot. It is rare you have stability anywhere, right? So part of the reason why a lot of coaches don't speak up as far as changing scheme or switching things up with practice, a lot of them are afraid to speak up because, well, the head coach has so much power. And let's just say that head coach didn't like you. Well, what if you're trying to get hired for another job? Well, that head coach can burn you for a lot of other openings as well. So I want it to be known how hard it is to even get an analyst job to anywhere. It is a very political system as far as that is concerned. But I will say I would be open to get back inside of a locker room. I love doing media. I love doing this job. I would not trade it for anything in the world outside of course, being I would love to be a part of LSU football. I really would. And I think a lot of you would jump at that opportunity as well. So I do feel great about the win. I am disappointed about the Lincoln Riley quote. I am not shocked that he is, according to his words, not taking the LSU job. Is Aranda still realistic? I'd still feel pretty good about him. Yes, Dave Aranda is still realistic. I just don't think Scott Woodward's going to hire a guy with one winning season. He wants someone with multiple years experience. That's a big deal. Keep in mind, all the coaches that he has hired are guys that have won a lot. Okay? That is also true, Rain. The only issue is Lincoln Riley's quote was so direct. But then again, so was Saban's quote. LSU's going to hire J.T. Curtis. Okay, so while I'm flattered to be considered for the head coach job of MSU football and committed to the CU bus, that's true. You never know how this could be. Okay? However, I will say this. Even though Lincoln Riley going from $7 million to $12 million is a big deal, I can argue that going from $2 million to $5 million is a bigger leap. at the same time getting $5 million a year when you have not won anything is huge. Okay. And then getting 5.5 million before you haven't won anything is huge. And then getting 9.5 million a year after one winning season is huge. So I do think it's a little bit different, but I do agree, Pegasus, you are right overall. You can't just you can't just say that. So this, Alex, welcome to the channel. I've seen on Twitter that Scott has already hired someone. Okay, well, let me know. I do think Watch should be someone that's on nobody's radar. Yeah, Big Mac, you've been hanging out with Shaq a bunch recently. You lucky duck. Huh? That's good, man. We got 2:19. We're at our highest mark, 2 hours plus into this. Okay, well, we'll keep this party moving. Sleep be darned. Normally up at 9:30 anyway, gotta stay up late. So the news will probably be broke when I'm asleep. What? I might not. If you guys super chat enough, I'm not going to go to sleep until we hire our next coach. I'll keep this stream going until we hire our next coach. Now, Haley would be very mad at me. Haley would be very, very, very mad at me. Some dude on Mike Scarborough's show said it was Chris Peterson. Once again, I don't like the source being someone on Twitter or some dude. But Chris Peterson would be interesting. I'm reading a few. His name on YouTube was Samp. So Samp in a YouTube chat is reporting Chris Peterson because his brother's mother's cousin's ex side chick's next door neighbor's gardener on someone else's show said that that person's side chick cousin's mother ex-husband, who is the brother of an oil magnate, who is a big TAF donor, says was Chris Peterson. Once again, I don't want your report to be some dude named Samp. All lowercase, too. I mean, noted college football newsbreaker Samp, noted Pulitzer Prize winning journalist Samp, Walter Cronkite moved to the left, Grantland Rice moved to the right, because Samp on YouTube has sources. His name was Simp. Okay, that's even worse. I did not think Somp would have been better than Simp. Everyone on YouTube has sources. I do, but I have none regarding this coaching search. None. I don't need a Simp's opinion. Is the Master Blaster still in here? I think Tony already knocked out. Tony already got the CPAP locked up. Who in here Brandon, what's good? Who all in here uses a CPAP? Okay. Who on here uses a CPAP? For those that don't know, after 2 hours, things get a little weird. I want to know. This is kind of funny. My sources are the visions I have after drinking absinthe. William, when we do our Lafayette meetup, I want to make sure that you are not invited because you are just too wild. Everyone, you always comment after 2 hours. William likes to take over the chat 2 hours long. For those that don't know, William has history. Okay. Where are my CPAPs? Yes. The Master Blaster. We got some CPAPs in here. Tay-Doc. I use CPAP. I like it. Where are my CPAPs? So Haley's dad, I call him Pawpaw. My Pawpaw. Master Chef Pawpaw Steve. The CPAP user, baby. I heard those things knock you out. I heard those things. The Master Blaster. Shout out to the Master Blaster, Tony, and Tony, Jason, and King Robert are the 3 top super chatters of tonight. And as always, Jared, always helping us out, man. Appreciate you. CPAP Nation. Britt. Okay, this is something as a comedian you should always know. I use a SAMP instead of a CPAP. JK, I'm not funny. Commit to the bit. I would have laughed at this, but you did not commit to the bit, right? It's like running zero blitz and your A-gap linebacker running through untouched just stops. You commit to the bit. So you're at the game tonight. It was amazing. 4 free tickets in section 304, row 26, and a parking lot in 406. Minus the rain, it was great. Did it rain some tonight? Interesting. So Riley isn't coming. Hey, Mason, good to hear from you, man. I used a CPAP and now a dental appliance. Huh? No. Dental appliance. What? Use a drill to go to sleep? Use one of those plaque things? Exactly. I still think Lincoln Riley can happen. He was caught after a press conference. Okay. What else were you expecting him to say? Okay. So the biggest Zion Williamson card on the planet just got pulled. It just got pulled. And it's worth well over $1 million. It just got pulled tonight. The one of one. All right, look, I'll play the Lincoln Riley audio. Let me see if I can. All right, here we go. I'll pull it up right now. So for the event. See? Go Sooners scoop. Okay.
It's nonstop. It's every day. Hold up, Gary. I'm not going to be the next head coach at LSU. Can I ask you? Next question.
Okay. Here we go.
It's nonstop. It's every day. Hold up, Gary. I'm not going to be the next head coach at LSU. Can I ask you? Next question. It's nonstop. It's every day. Hold up, Gary. I'm not going to be the next head coach at LSU. Can I ask you? Next question.
All right, so let me talk about this really quickly. Okay, so I'm going to defend the young man who reported this. What's your take on the verbal agreement reports that came out during the game? Okay, so this is very important. All right. I'm going to tell you a quick little story about reporting and sourcing, okay? So I covered an NBA draft many years ago, okay? And I was leaving the NBA draft at 4 a.m. So I was with SiriusXM. I was in New York at the time, and the draft was in Brooklyn. I was leaving at 4 a.m. and because I didn't have a ride, and my train didn't leave until 6 because I had to get back to DC to do a radio show. But that's just the longer version of the story. That's not important. The last person leaving the NBA draft, I was leaving at 4 a.m. I was leaving from Barclays Arena because I had no other choice. The last person leaving was Adrian Wojnarowski, otherwise known as Woj, and he was still with Yahoo at the time. So Woj, from the get-go, was the hardest working guy when it comes to scoops, okay? That's the reason why him and Shams get the scoops. They worked harder to get the important sources with the agents. They feed them information. That's how that stuff works, okay? There's no payments, no nothing. That's how it works. It's really hard to get to that level, okay? You have to outwork everybody, and it's hard, okay? So the verbal agreement report came from a reporter who works for a student newspaper. Not going to say his name. Once again, he might have gotten good information regarding. I've DM'd with him before, not recently, but he might have gotten good information that Lincoln Riley was going to accept the deal. But at the same time, the reporter said this could change. Whatever. It's really hard to get a scoop, guys. It's really hard. And it almost isn't worth it. Like, for instance, when have you ever heard me break any news on here? I've gotten a few things as far as like information that I was given, some of which turned out to be true, but it does nothing. Unless you're Woj or you're Shams or you're Schefter or Ian Rappaport, and you're breaking a ton of stories. There is no upside. And I cannot say this enough as far as coaches or whoever making a decision, right? There were reporters who were texting Odell Beckham during the Odell sweepstakes, right? That were saying, oh, he's going to choose the Rams or he's going to choose the Packers or whatever. Keep in mind that stories involve someone signing a contract oftentimes comes down to the very last second. Marcus Freeman is a good example of that. It comes down to the very last second. People could change their minds. Lincoln Riley could hop in a plane and call Scott Woodward and say, I want it. Okay? Tony's Ambien is kicking in. He's ready to strap up the CPAP. Good night. The Master Blaster. We'll see you later, Tony. My guy. My freaking guy. Tony. I love it. Exactly, Reggie. If he just would have switched up the defense a little sooner, even with Max Johnson's ineptitude, he would have been able to keep his job. That's all there is to it. We definitely beat UCLA. The Master Blaster. Wake up, wake up. It's close to midnight. I've always wanted to sing that song right before midnight on here. That's from my mom. That was her favorite song. I respect Riley for not committing to something too soon. But yeah, you know, let's hear. Think about the baseball head coaching hire. Was he a top coach? Excuse me. I don't know enough about Jay Johnson or LSU baseball to really comment on that. I know he's brought in some interesting transfers, and LSU baseball should be pretty good this year. I know he brought in a really well-respected pitching coach, Coach Kelly, I believe his name is. I just don't know enough about college baseball to comment on if Jay Johnson was a home run hire or not. Okay. Or Rain, since you're in Shreveport, if we don't find out something by today, I'm going to lose it. Don't think it's as simple as going to a 3-4 to start the season. If you have Anthony and Gay are better players than Jones was at the start of the season, Jones wasn't formidable at linebacker till mid-season. I disagree with this. I really do, because Mike Jones was the top 5 rated linebacker according to Pro Football Focus. Now, they were trying to misuse him, and they were trying to put him at a different position, but the point still remains the same. it's not switching from a 3-4 or a 4-3. The issue, Austin, was running the same defense every single play. That's what they did versus UCLA. That's what they did versus Kentucky. You mean to tell me that if they don't switch it up just a little bit, that those games aren't closer? Because if you run the same defense every play, you're giving the game away. That's essentially what you're doing. And we almost gave the Florida game away doing that same stupid crap. If they didn't throw interceptions, and if we didn't have Jaquelin Roy playing like a superhuman, Florida probably would have won that game. Even if we jumped out to a big lead, Florida scored a touchdown on every possession from the Hail Mary on in, outside of 2 interceptions that were both forced by Jaquelin Roy. And the final interception would have been a touchdown if Roy didn't make the play that he played. So I simply just disagree with this. Anthony and Gay were really good players, but they could play in a 3-4. They can, be in one of the linemen there. It's more important to make sure you have a good scheme. And running the 4-3, it wasn't that LSU was running a 4-3 or a 4-2-5. It's giving the game away by lining up where you were going to line up. Where you were going to be was where you're going to be. Pre-snap, post-snap, no pre-snap movement, no stimming, no rolling of the safeties. It was death. You were committing to suicide. There was no way. You were giving your team no chance of winning at all. But I do agree. Anthony and Gay were great players. But just because they're great players doesn't mean that you run a static 4-3. What did I say at the beginning of the season? No Bama, Clemson, Ohio State, OU, or Notre Dame in the playoffs. But Austin, I respect your comments. I just disagreed with that. Hopefully Georgia knocks Bama out. And this also is something else that sucks, right? The rest of college football really was garbage this year, right? There really weren't a whole lot of the elite powers being all that great. Ohio State had one blowout game against Michigan State, and, everyone thought that they were going to roll Michigan when Michigan was the one that really had a fluky loss. When Ohio State lost to Oregon earlier this year, they were handled. Also, for you Sebastian Maniscalco fans out there, both games that Sebastian attended as guest of the Ohio State football, they lost. Okay, so we'll switch up the chat for a little bit. We need a new poll question. Notre Dame still has a chance to get in. They're sitting at 11-1 with no conference championship to worry about. They will need a lot of help. Once again, game control is not good in their favor. They've had a couple of really fortunate games go their way. Their lone loss, I believe, is to Cincinnati. But once again, Brian Kelly. Will, I love it. Best LSU game I've gone to in a while. STTDB. What does that even mean? I've never understood what that meant. I asked someone before, but someone sent me a tiger and an eggplant emoji. I don't know what that meant. Will, what does that mean? I'm kidding, Will. I'm kidding. Those unis look clean. Those all whites. All whites. All icy. Let's go. How many of you have gone to a party that was an all-white dress party? Head to toe, you had to wear a white tuxedo or just you haven't lived until you've gone to an all-white party, otherwise known as a fraternity function. Kidding. But I'm talking about like dressed white from head to toe. A toga party. It's my favorite alt uniform. As an Aggie fan, I don't get how CALZADA has played in 11 games now and continues to struggle with being comfortable in the pocket. The toga party comment was just great. So let's pull up the stats. We haven't pulled up the stats yet. Let's see what we got here. Share screen. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So what I always look at is the yards per play numbers. Okay. So let's scroll down here. Let's bring this up. Just go look at the box score. And as you see here, LSU, they averaged 6 yards per play at half. They finished with 5.6. So once again, LSU not having a strong second half. The average yards per completion was obviously good for LSU, good for Texas A&M as well. Average yards per rush. Once again, Texas A&M really couldn't run the ball until late when LSU's defense was getting tired, when LSU's offense started having a bunch of 3-and-outs. CALZADA's got a big arm, as all of you know, right? But the issue, I really do think the issue is Jimbo Fisher. I don't think Texas A&M, and Ryan, you could say this to every Texas A&M board, right? I know Gabe Bach, Gabe's the GOAT of Texas A&M information, him and Billy Lucci, right? Courtney, my friend, I know she used to work at Rivals. I have a lot of Texas A&M media buddies. So you could say this to anyone, Ryan, that's a Texas A&M fan. They will not win a national championship with Jimbo as their play caller because he can't call plays on the road. He just can't. Now, at home, he is freaking incredible. But on the road, his splits are so bad. He is so much worse on the road than at home, right? He has never averaged 5 yards per play versus LSU. That's bad. That is really bad. He was one of the 2 teams last year that didn't average at least 4 yards per play. In fact, 8 out of the 10 teams, I know I use this stat all the time, averaged 7 yards per play versus LSU last year. Texas A&M at home, with a great defensive outing, only averaged 3.8 yards per play against LSU's worst defense of all time. Jimbo is not a good play caller. I don't think he's a good quarterback developer. I understand Haynes King isn't there, and Texas A&M has a 5-star coming in, and the second highest rated quarterback from Louisiana coming in 2023. So A&M's quarterback future looks bright, but I just don't think Jimbo's a good quarterback developer. Like, he had Jameis, that was really good. He did really good things with Jameis, but the pass protection wasn't ever really that great for Jameis the year after the championship game. The pass protection was never great with DeAndre Francois. Then you look at Jimbo Fisher as a play caller over the past couple of years. Kellen Mond wasn't his quarterback. So since then, he's recruited a few other quarterbacks. CALZADA was one of them, a 3-star, right? But the issue, though, is they get a 4-star quarterback this year in Eli Stowers out of the state of Texas. They've already moved him to tight end. I just don't think Jimbo can coach quarterbacks. I just don't. Now, the funny thing is, and I've always brought this up about head coaches, Jimbo is freaking good at everything else. He can manage a program. He is, for the most part, really good at building a program, fundraising. Obviously, Jimbo Fisher is probably the second best recruiter in the country based on his track record. Only Nick Saban's better than him. He's a really good recruiter, right? Says and does all the right things, handles himself like a head coach. Nothing really nefarious outside of the end of the Florida State tenure, but definitely nothing nefarious since he's been at Texas A&M. I just don't like his offensive philosophy. I think one thing that Jimbo Fisher does, and you see it just in every television broadcast. And when I was at the LSU game in 2019, I spoke to someone that I trust with A&M information after the game, and he agreed with me that he thinks that Jimbo Fisher can overcoach their quarterbacks sometimes. I don't know. I understand CALZADA is not the guy. Would Haynes King have made Texas A&M better this year? I don't know. Kirby Smart is 5 times the recruiter Jimbo is. I would agree with that right now, but then again, that's Georgia, and Georgia has the highest per capita NFL player ratio than anyone else. And Jimbo Fisher has turned the tide of recruiting now at his second program within a decade. Florida State's recruiting has not been the same. Jimbo Fisher has made Texas A&M's recruiting top 5 in the country, right? So, yes, Jimbo, Kirby's a better recruiter. He gets better top-end talent. But is it him or is it Georgia? It's probably a lot to do with Kirby. So, yeah, I would say Kirby and Jimbo probably 2 and 3, and you're probably right. Kirby's probably a little better. But I would be fine with Jimbo, right? If you're getting me someone else that is a top 5 recruiter, right, from an SEC West rival, and he's going to have a good relationship with the athletic director, why not Jimbo, right? But there's a lot I dislike about how he coaches quarterbacks and how he calls plays, right? He wouldn't be the worst. In fact, he'd be a pretty daggum good option right now if you're LSU. And his biggest issue since being at Texas A&M has been coaching LSU or versus LSU, right? Oh my God, Jimbo is terrible. I don't think he's great. I think he's very flawed. But tell me this, would you prefer Jimbo Fisher or Bill O'Brien? Would you prefer Jimbo Fisher or Mark Stoops? Would you prefer Jimbo Fisher or Matt Campbell? I'll tell you this, I would prefer Lane Kiffin over Jimbo Fisher. But now that seemingly the top candidate, and it might not have been Scott Woodward's candidate, the Lane Kiffin thing might have never really had legs. Carter, I'm going to use your words against you tonight because that doesn't make sense. Why would you want a guy who can't coach a quarterback and isn't good on the road? I'm not saying that he is one of my top candidates. My point is if all other options fail, he wouldn't be bad. He would not be bad at all. Once again, though, would he give up some of his offensive play calling duties? I just don't know if he wants to give that up or not. All right, William. I agree with this too, Sip. So I'll say this. If he gave up play calling duties, I think they do need to think about it. I really do think you can't just do it all. You can't be an elite recruiter at the same time staying on top of the latest in offensive schemes and all that. It's just too much, right? Cody! I always put him up there. Always rocking the PHL gear, throwing up the L's. Let's go. Boom. Reed, you would look good in one of these shirts. Same thing for you, Sip G. If you want to be like me and Cody and get your PHL shirt, we haven't had any. You know what's funny? We haven't had anyone order one in a while. This would make me feel a lot better after this Lincoln Riley report. If you're going to tell me we could get someone that recruits a top 5 recruiting class every year? Let's go. I know Nuts is your guy. I saw him on the sideline getting crunk. I like it. Johnny! Shout out to Johnny and Gail. Mario Cristobal is not leaving Oregon. Another guy that's recruiting a top 10 class. Well, who's going to be the next person to get the PHL shirt? We haven't been selling shirts like we were. Lane Kiffin would be a great recruiter at LSU. Bill O'Brien has a pretty dang good resume. Did you watch Bama's offense today? I will say I do think Bama would have scored quicker if their best offensive player didn't get kicked out of the game by hitting someone in the head on punting, which is so crazy to me, right? On punt team, really? Exactly, Reggie. Right on point. Got to pay for premium, Johnny. You know it, baby. You know one thing we haven't mentioned tonight? Why hasn't anyone brought up Cardell Thomas? Cardell! Proud of you, Cardell. Grant, it's not time to leave yet. Guy Fawkes, good to see you. Carter, let me ask you a hypothetical. Would you believe a Woj tweet saying a coach is joining a new team, or a coach in a post-game press conference saying he's not going anywhere? That's a pretty interesting thing, because Woj's tweet, it would more than likely be coming from an agent who would have more direct knowledge of a client signing somewhere. So yeah, if that agent was the agent of the coach, then yeah, I would believe Woj. But there's not a college football newsbreaker on that level. Plus, Woj is just rarely wrong. LSU basketball winning, good for them. You'd believe the Woj tweet as well. I just don't understand why he's not making that already. He's worth that much money, right? The way he wins every year, he is definitely worth no less than $12 million. So yeah, I'm about to sign off as well. There's still 162 of you in here, right? So here's what we'll do. It seems like a lot of you want to keep chatting. So I'm down. If I get a super chat in the next 5 minutes, I'm happy to keep this party moving. Once again, Venmo, Cash App is wide open. Or I do have this. I do still believe, since I haven't sold one in a while, I still do have my t-shirt link still right there. Cool stuff. Still drinking the same beer 3 hours in. Still got some good frigidity. I'm telling you, this koozie is undefeated. It literally is undefeated. Here we go. What the rumors on the head coach. So obviously the biggest thing is Lincoln Riley is not he said he's not going to be the next head coach at LSU, which very well could mean that he will be the next head coach at LSU. So yeah, that's basically it. That's the biggest storyline. And obviously, the other names that have been connected to this, Matt Campbell, Bill O'Brien, Mark Stoops, and to a lesser extent, Chris Peterson and Jimbo Fisher. I like Mel a lot. I just never considered Mel someone that would leave Michigan State. And he was always close to my top 5. He was in my top 5 at some point, but he was never one of my top 3. No. I know you got to cope, man. Thanks, Chewy, for always trolling my comment section with absolute nonsense. I just want to say that publicly, that it is pretty amazing. I'm dead serious, Chewy. It is pretty amazing, like, how useless your comments have been on my channel. I'm being honest as I can. Legit, it's a bunch of gibberish. Mark Stoops, yeah, his name has been connected quite a bit. Even though, like, it's 58 and 53. He's done really good at Kentucky. That's all there is. Yeah, and Cliff's also said this as well. Cliff's not in here anymore. He was asleep. I'll say this, okay? Here's why you have to really take into account the Mark Stoops thing, right? The one thing I've heard from the search is they want someone very experienced, as in someone with more than 1 year experience of winning. So I do think the next coach for LSU will be a college head coach with multiple years experience, with multiple years of building a program. Okay. So, Mark Stoops has definitely done as good, if not better, a job building Kentucky into something respectable, more so than anyone else, really. I mean, he's probably been the most consistent coach out of the non-elites in the SEC, right? And he is a little bit of an older guy. Woodward likes experience when he's hiring a coach, someone that's been around in the search. And this is what really concerns me about the Mark Stoops, because I'm not a big Mark Stoops guy, right? Now, if Mark Stoops is the next head coach at LSU, I am going to back him. I'm a fan of the program, first and foremost, and I'm always going to support Mark Stoops, okay? The attendance tonight was one of the best all year. Then a ton of people left at halftime. Yeah, because they were winning comfortably and they want to beat traffic. Good. I'm glad you crossed your heart. But yeah, Chewy, I've never claimed to have known anything at all. But I will relay this information that I've heard that I don't think a guy like Dave Aranda or Lane Kiffin, who doesn't have – Lane Kiffin has a lot of head coaching experience. I just think Dave Aranda only having 1 year of winning experience is something that Scott Woodward doesn't want to – is an alley that Scott Woodward doesn't want to go down. He wants to go after someone with a long track record of winning. Good night, Johnny. Johnny, I'm not ready for you to go to sleep. I'm not. I would take Kiffin over Stoops. I think every single one of us would take Kiffin over Stoops, right? Yes, Aranda was the assistant coach for LSU, right? But he's talking about head coaching candidates, okay? Trav, I know you're new to the channel. My number one candidate is and always will be Lincoln Riley. But looks like that ship has sailed. Hopefully we are all wrong on that. But like I've said repeatedly, I don't think Lincoln Riley was ever taking this job. Free boudin and beer. Where at, Aaron? I'm not your enemy, so drink your flat beer. You don't talk real talk. Yeah, you don't either. Look, you can barely punctuate a sentence. So I will see you never. I'm kidding, Chew. You're always welcome. But yeah, Lincoln Riley is my top candidate. Free boudin and beer to keep LSU fans to stay in the stadium. Sure. Why not? I would have preferred Dave Aranda over over Mark Stoops. It's a good question, Jacob. And Jacob, welcome to the channel. Do you think it's the NFL for Lincoln then? Seems strange to me that he turned down $100 million to stay at Oklahoma. I just don't think it's that strange, guys. I mean, look, Lincoln Riley, I would guess, his salaries aren't in front of me right now. I would guess up to this point, he has already made what? No less after taxes. He already has $20 million in the bank. Probably a little more or less than that, but let's just say Lincoln Riley already has $15 million in the bank. By the way, coaches that are big time college coaches, they mostly just coach, right? They don't really have much time to do anything else. So it's kind of hard to live lavishly, especially in Norman. So you don't need as much money to live in a smaller area. And he's only 38. I think Lincoln Riley believes in himself. I think he's always feels like he's going to be employed no matter where he goes. So I'm not so sure if $100 million is the same kind of life-changing money we think it is for Lincoln Riley. I would guess the contract would have been $100 million with $70 million guaranteed with a huge buyout. Once again, it might not be that big of a deal for him, especially at 38, knowing he's going to make a lot more money in his career. So, yeah, I just think it's more comfortable to stay in Oklahoma, right? Notice Oklahoma has not won a playoff game, but there's been no movement at all as far as Lincoln Riley losing his job, right? And I've defended Lincoln Riley losing those playoff games. And Jacob, if this is your first time, please let me know. So yeah, I just don't think that's I just don't think money's as big of a deal to him. Trolling? I never said you were. I don't think I ever said you were trolling. It's just your comments never make sense, Chewy. And it's really impressive. I'm really impressed. Let's see. Derek. Thank you. I'd still love Aranda. We don't know who is getting the job, but we also don't know who isn't getting the job. Okay. All right, Chewy, I'm moving on. Trolling whatever. I don't want to get into your comments, but it's whatever. Bottom line is we need the right coach. Doesn't matter who the name is. I agree with that. With the SEC realignment, OU might be the best team in the West. Why would he leave? Mark Stoops was asked on his post-game show tonight if fans can absolutely expect him to be on the UK sidelines moving forward. He replied, absolutely. So hopefully tomorrow, Lincoln Riley is accepting the LSU deal. I don't think Scott Woodward would hire Billy Napier. Just don't. That's true, Josh. It'd be wild if that happened. I'm giving Napier a lot of credit. Let's see. Something just doesn't add up. Matt Campbell, Mark Stoops are the last people to get boosters and fans excited. And Woodward, yeah, I mean, they're not the sexiest, most attractive names, but Matt Campbell's name is coming for NFL jobs. All right. Aaron, you love the picture. It's my guy, Jamar Simeon. Go support his art. He is a Louisiana native, and he is phenomenal. There you go. And there's a special. Let me see. There we go. I could actually pull this up for you. Definitely going to keep this up. There you go. There you go. Support a Louisiana artist, Jamar Simeon. He would appreciate it. And if you want a PHL shirt, boom. Maybe the big game hunter is after Bob Stoops. Could be. All right, guys, we're at 3 hours. We'll try our best to put a bow on it. Once again, someone super chatted and kept the party moving. I am happy to keep this live stream moving all night long if we keep getting super chats. Once again, this is the best way to fund the channel. And I did a 30-minute piece on Billy Napier praising him, saying that he's going to be a really great coach. He could, Aaron. Just hit him up, Jamar Simeon. He can draw anything. So just hit him up. Tell him I sent. If you tell him that I sent you, he'll probably give you a discount. Jamar's a supporter of the channel. I haven't talked to Jamar in a little bit, but yeah, hit him up on Instagram or on his website. He'll probably commission you a good little piece. I mean, do you think LSU will have a team like the 2019 team again? Trav, I think this is your first time on the channel, so welcome. I always answer first-timer questions. Yeah, do it, Aaron. Make sure you tell him that I sent you, and he could probably do something for you. He's really good. I mean, probably not. It's hard to be the greatest of all time again. But what do I know? No, I mean, the 2019 team was a miracle in every shape, form, and fashion about how it was put together. Jamar Chase ending up at LSU was a miracle in and of itself. 2 3-stars being first round all-time great SEC talents. Joe Burrow being the best of all time. After an 18 touchdown, 2,600 passing yard season the year before. Well, where he was good, but you wouldn't have ever guessed he would be the best to ever do it. So yeah, it was a miracle, right? So this is a good question. Romeo's been with me for a while now. Hasn't been as active in chats, Romeo. You have my hoodie too. So Romeo was one of the first winners of a contest on this channel. Les Miles, I was still very young. So it was 2005. So I was a sophomore in college. Don't remember Nick Saban being hired. Les Miles, so I couldn't really tell you. When Ed Orgeron was hired, I was kind of in the middle because I knew the recruiting would hit an all-time great level. I also knew he was affordable, so we could afford other options. I also knew like good coordinators. I also knew Dave Aranda was still around, so I was fine with Ed Orgeron. Wasn't on fire about it. I was somewhat critical of the decision at the time. Worked out okay. Now, we'll see how this next one goes. Wasn't on fire about O, though. I do think that search was not the best. Josh Gaddis, Michigan OC, or Charles Huff, Marshall head coach. They both are under the radar candidates that learned under Saban. Woodward wants to make a splashy hire, though. Charles Huff is interesting. First year head coach at Marshall. Once again, I don't think I just don't think Woodward. The one thing I have been told about this search is Woodward wants a coach with head coaching experience. Okay. I've been told that by a few of you viewers. I've been told that from people I trust in the media. I've been told that from people I trust to follow the program really closely in or out of the media, right? That's one thing that's just been stressed. And it's not just the fact that they were given that information. It's also that's Woodward's track record. He hires people that aren't learning on the job. And I think that's a big thing Woodward wants to avoid because, look, LSU's current staff in and of itself is also very inexperienced, right? Jake Peets is a first-time play caller. DJ Mangus is a first-time passing game coordinator. Kev Falk is only, year 2 of his coaching? Mickey Joseph's been there for a while. Brad Davis has been at a lot of stops. Blake Baker's very experienced. Andre Carter. So, there's a lot of experience, but it's still very young as far as coordinatorship is concerned. And to take it one step further, there was only 2 coaches on the staff this year that have ever been coordinators. Blake Baker, the linebackers coach, and Durante Jones. And Blake Baker was the only coach on the staff that has ever had coordinator experience at the Power 5 Division I level. So I do think Scott Woodward going to practice every day understands something that we probably don't know, is that the program does need a lot of work. There is a lot of rebuilding to be done. Aaron, I will if you super chat. I'll happily hang a picture of you wrestling a bull. I don't know why you want that, but go right on ahead. Do you think? Brody, super chats. The one question that we've been talking about for a little bit. So welcome, Brody. Thank you for the super chat. We'll keep this party moving. Are you ready for Mark Stoops to be our next head coach? P.S. I think it would do great here, by the way. So someone already included the very important, relevant information that Mark Stoops was asked a question in the post-game Kentucky live chat that will you be on UK sidelines next year? And I haven't heard the audio, but Mark Stoops says he would. Once again, though, if you're in that position, I think a lot of people would say, yes, they are coming back. So just because Lincoln Riley says he will not be the head coach at LSU next year doesn't guarantee that he's staying or leaving, right? I think he would do great here, by the way. It just depends on what your definition of great is, right? So for me, if you consider the Ed Orgeron tenure a success, which I do, you won the national championship, so it's a success. It was also a massive failure in many ways. It just depends on your definition of success. If Mark Stoops were to come here and coach the way that he coached at Kentucky this year, he'll win 9 or 10 games every year. He will. I just don't know. He is a conservative coach through and through, right? 4th down decision making, very game control coach. Not my style. I'm an aggressive guy. I think that's something. Also, how would his recruiting be in Louisiana? I'm sure it would be better. I'm sure he would do fine. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. But let me know if that answered your question just fine, Brody. I know we've been talking about Mark Stoops quite a bit here. Brody says, I think he's a better coach than Les Miles. Brody, I know it's late, but Les Miles is not the standard we're trying to meet here. Okay? Now, once again, Les Miles won a lot here. Ed Orgeron won a lot here. And I want to be clear about something really quickly, okay? This is the one thing that you have to keep in mind about this coaching search. And it's very important. And I have not done a good enough job of explaining this and sharing this point. I did this before the season as far as Ed Orgeron is concerned. I haven't done a good enough job of this during the search, which is why I think, and I should have done a better job of this explaining why I would give Lincoln Riley 10 to 12 million a year. During the Les Miles era, the bottom half of the SEC was mostly horrible. Okay, so Mississippi State, you notice Les Miles was beating Mississippi State a lot, but then when they got a good coach, Dan Mullen started beating us on occasion. Okay, Arkansas was mostly good, some bad, but when they had Bobby Petrino and when they had Brett Bielema, they would beat us on occasion. Okay, we had more talent. Also, keep in mind, Les Miles struggled with Ole Miss. Okay? And the talent advantages there were a little bit bigger than what they are now, right? Now, they had really good players. Like, for instance, there's no shame in losing to Darren McFadden, okay? We shouldn't have lost that game, but we did, okay? My point, though, is the bottom half of the SEC has never been better, okay? Mike Leach is really good at Mississippi State. He's not great. I don't think he'll ever win 10 wins, but he can beat us. Ole Miss is really good with Lane Kiffin. Sam Pittman is really good at Arkansas. We see Mark Stoops at Kentucky. So the SEC's bottom half has never been better. But during those Les Miles years, Les won a lot of those games just by the talent default in and of itself, right? And Saban wasn't Saban yet until later in the Les Miles tenure. And then Auburn got Gus. And then they started beating us. So it's important to keep that in mind because it is important that this next head coach, the standard is not Les Miles, right? So that's part of it. The talent advantage between and Brody, let me know if that answers your question a little bit better. I think Mark Stoops can win at LSU, absolutely. I just don't know. Like, I just don't know how much better of a coach he is than Lane Kiffin. I just don't. Something else that's pretty crazy is if LSU didn't win tonight, Florida also won today as well. Vanderbilt is the only SEC team that's not going to a bowl game, right? Hey, bro, I met you at a card show in Benton. 8-4 Hogs, baby. Congrats on beating LSU and making the Hogs third in the West. LSU is not smart getting rid of Orgeron. Okay, cool. Yeah, card show in Benton. I met a lot of people at that show. It was a fun show. But yeah, Awesome Sauce, good to meet you again as well. Please comment below this video, Awesome Sauce, or comment here. What table did I meet you at? Did we almost make a trade? I don't remember. But no, Orgeron needed to go. The standard under Les Miles was 9 to 10 wins a season at minimum, 8 being fireable. What do you think personally should the standard be at LSU going into the search? So that's a good question, Andres, right? So Marcus made a good point. Marcus is never in the chat anymore. I text him all the time. I don't know why. So Marcus made a good point about this before the season, and I feel the same way about this. I don't care if LSU loses, right? I think it's more important. Well, I do care if they lose, but I think it's more important how we lost. And the fact is, LSU just wasn't changing things quick enough to avoid future losses. So, for instance, I thought for sure the Mississippi State game was going to be a shootout versus our offense, which was really hot at the time and was really good in that game, against their offense going up against our 4-man rush. But you guys remember LSU decided to rush 3 and drop 8 versus Mississippi State, and that won us the game, right? And Kayshawn. So that was a good change, right? So it was more important that they made that change than anything else. Okay? The standard for me is, are you doing the necessary steps to get us to that 9 and 10 win standard? For me, I think the standard at LSU, with the way Bama's recruiting, with the way Texas A&M's recruiting, with how good Ole Miss and Arkansas is right now, I think the standard should be the same. That every year, or I'll say this, every 4 years, LSU should be making the playoff. And I think that's a pretty fair standard for LSU. I would say once every 4 years. I think that would be pretty fair. Now, the standard should be the playoffs every year. I agree with that. That should be the goal, right? But I also think that's really tough. I was sitting in the back of the room and you're asking me about Joe Burrow cards. We talked about the Razorbacks. We're looking up with the hire Sam Pittman. It was a little while back. Cool stuff, man. Well, I hope I see you around. Next card show in Benton. I don't know when the next card show is. I haven't been able to go to a card show in a while. And by the way, Awesome Sauce, I do have a football card podcast now. QB battle for next year, Max Nuss Walker transfer portal. So I want everyone right now to type in the chat right now to answer Josh's question. Who do you think the next starting quarterback will be at LSU? Type in the chat right now. All right, Awesome Sauce. I need you. There you go, Awesome Sauce. That is my football card podcast. I need everyone to go subscribe to this right here. Okay, subscribe to our new football card YouTube channel if you can do it. And that's mainly for Awesome Sauce. It's my new football card podcast. We're trying to grow it. Walker as a true freshman, Lamar G. What kind of gaming chair is that? I need to get a better chair. My back. I'm going to have so many back issues sitting on this crappy chair. Max starts next season. Johnson, Walker, Nuss. Okay. Max. Okay. Nuss versus Walker. I just subbed. I got you, bro. That's cool stuff, man. I appreciate you. If you want to get Caleb Williams, I like it, Brian. Nuts to the portal. Okay, so good stuff. So let me go back to what I've said from the get-go. If Garrett Nussmeier is dead set, okay, let me say this as far as Nuss is concerned, because we haven't talked a whole lot about him tonight, and nor should we. You know, tonight was Max's night. This was Max's best SEC performance by a pretty wide margin. Now, if Nuss and his camp wanted to, you went to school with Caleb in D.C.? Shout out D.C. I love it, man. I lived in Columbia Heights. You subscribed as well. Cool stuff. So, if Nuss wanted to transfer, let's just say he doesn't like LSU, the redshirt decision was a smart decision, right? To not play any more games. Okay, so if Doug Nussmeier called Ed Orgeron and called Jake Peets and said, look, I want my kid to redshirt because we're transferring this offseason, it was a smart move for them. I think it's an extremely selfish move because you signed up to be the backup quarterback and now you're bailing. But I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's true at all. What I think happened was everyone involved in this scenario potentially overthunk this scenario because, as I've said from the get-go, the best thing for Garrett Nussmeier to do was to go to the coaching staff and say, I want to play these final few games. I want to have the chance to start versus ULM because this was your chance to win the job. Okay? I think Garrett Nussmeier made a massive mistake, especially if he is coming back to LSU. The redshirting thing never made any sense at all. At all. Never, ever, ever. Can I ask your opinion on Arkansas? If you super chat, I'll happily talk about the Hogs. I used to talk about Arkansas every day. I did a radio show in Arkansas. But yeah, feel free. But if you super chat, I'll talk about the Hogs as long as you want. Haven't got an LSU super chat in a while. Thanks for the subs, guy, on the new thing. If you like football cards, it's a lot of fun. It really is. But yeah, so I'll keep it LSU for now. So I just think Gary Nussmeier made a bad decision. Okay? They made a really, really, really bad decision. Okay? Aaron, where do you live in South Arkansas? I grew up in South Arkansas. I just think they made a bad decision. I really do. I just don't think we talk enough about how rare it is to get your shot to play quarterback at all. At all. Cool stuff, man. I'm a proud El Dorado Wildcat, baby. Going to the state championship. Let's go. I'm a proud El Dorado Wildcat. Let's go, Cats. Let's go. When Les had the little headset and blew a 21-point lead against Alabama, I thought we were doing, or Tennessee. Yeah, that was wild. It's so wild. That was so long ago. Brett, I have. We'll see what happens. That's the TDLR version. Or the TLDR version. Smack over Buckaroo Nation. Let's go, Bucks. Go, Bucks, go. Junction City. All right. We got a Razorback question. Okay, so here's what I'll do. I get a super chat about Arkansas. I will tie in LSU football right here. So, do you think Treylon Burks has any chance of staying? The answer to that is no. He would be insane to stay. KJ, the real deal. I do like KJ a lot. KJ Jefferson, 78 QBR or better in 6 out of his 9 starts this year, which is really freaking good. Just for reference, Max Johnson has had 4 games this year where his QBR has been below 50. So KJ really played well. Is Arkansas relevant again in the West, going 3rd this year? Absolutely. Will they ever win a title? No, they don't have the recruiting framework to ever win a title. But 9 to 10 wins every year is nothing to snuff at. Also, get new refs. Yeah, the Alabama game was a little crazy. I thought Jamison Williams dropped that ball, but I'm always a guy that thinks, the tie goes to the receiver. Now, as far as Treylon Burks is concerned, I do think Treylon Burks is Jamar Chase, just not quite as good. Burks is really good, though. Elite speed, elite size. He's got the largest hands you'll ever see, and he'll be the first receiver that will get selected. So is he a Jamar Chase level prospect? Probably not. He's not that good. He's really good. He's just not that good. I think he'll be a first-round pick. I could see a team fall in love with Jamison Williams and take Jamison first. Then you get into Traylon Burks versus Garrett Wilson, or Traylon Burks versus Chris Olave. I think he's better than both of them. I do. So Michael said 07. If you're a graduate of the class of 07, let me know. What's his name, Shemichael? I might know him. Ed Orgeron's packing tonight and heading to Destin tomorrow with his girlfriend. Whoever the new coach is, I wish him all the luck in the world. I will always be an LSU fan. Oh, dang. BYU got it done. Julio Hernandez. I don't think I knew Julio. Oh, Chris Ryan. Yeah, Chris is my guy. Chris is a good dude. Lane is the best option remaining. Yeah, Reinders is a beast. Think Jason Williams will come back for another season? BYU finishes 5-0 versus the Pac-12 this year. The Honey Jack Daniels.
So, Tom, go Tigers. So, give it to me one more time. Go Tigers. So, give it to me one more time. Go Tigers.
Aggies still haven't won in Baton Rouge since 94. Wild. Oh. They should. I mean, they won the head-to-head. Yeah, they should. Yeah. Keep in mind, I mean, Arkansas drew Georgia this year in cross divisions, and Texas A&M this year got South Carolina, and who did they play cross division? Let me see. Oh, they got Missouri and South Carolina cross division. Hell yeah. Huh? Yeah, I definitely think Arkansas should get bowl consideration over Arkansas had to play Missouri and Georgia, and A&M got to get Missouri and South Carolina. Heck yeah. I can't get over, and I know I bring this up all the time. I can't get over the cross division rival thing. I really can't. I just think it's such a disadvantage for some teams. I really do. Well, all right, guys. I'm going to sign off here, unless, of course, this is going to be a 5-minute warning. I'll answer as many questions as I can. We've answered a lot of these same questions over and over. Was 8 rows up from the field, and we almost stormed the field when the time ran out, but security had the field on lockdown. Yeah, I'm actually kind of glad we didn't storm the field. I think Michigan storming the field was worth it today. They really needed to storm the field for finally beating Ohio State. But yeah, that's not a field stormer for 6-6. I don't want that on our resume. Appreciate you, Awesome Sauce. You need to check out the Football Card podcast. It's me and my guy, Andy. And Andy is the sharpest football card mind on the web. USC has a 31-year-old kicker. I have no idea, Branson. I wouldn't lead you astray. My gut tells me it'll be tomorrow morning at 10:37 a.m. So set your alarm for then. Okay? So you guys don't get mad at me if I don't have a head coaching video automatically queued up and ready to go. So, yeah. I'm so pissed we stormed the field versus Georgia in 2018. By the way, when was the last time UJ beat us? I was fine with storming the field then, right? That was pre-Orgeron national championship. Georgia was, what, a top 10 team? I was fine with that. Part of the reason why I didn't want a field storming is there's still some people that I didn't want another Texas A&M fight to happen. Branson, we'll do some kind of content if there is a coach hired by tomorrow. No, you shouldn't be pissed you stormed the field versus Texas. You're Arkansas. You should storm the field every time you beat a ranked team, right? I was on the field when Arkansas stormed the field versus LSU when they beat us 17-0. Oh, that was a tough one. That was the beginning of the end of the Les Miles era. Well, all right, guys. Thank you so much. Kudos to you, Ed Orgeron. You're a flawed coach. Hate that it ended like this. I have a lot of respect for you. That second half was rough. We were very lucky to come out on top, but anytime you could beat Texas A&M, it's a good thing, right? And it's kind of hard. I don't know if we're going to get a film study in tomorrow, because if a head coach is announced tomorrow, there's no point in doing a film study tomorrow. So we will see you tomorrow. John Robinson. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom. Shout out to our top super chatters tonight. Robert, Jared. Of course, I got to shout out the Master Blaster and Jason, dropping some very generous super chats. Thank you guys so much. If it wasn't for all of your super chats, I mean, God, we had so many tonight. I want to be able to do what I do. So I appreciate you guys. And we will see you. Let's go.